Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 224. We're gonna take a shot here. Nate, how you doing tonight?
I am watching the Yankees lose again to.
Oh, here we go with the Yankees.
Nathan Eovaldi, a former Yankee pitcher. They are losing 1-0, which is their trend since the All-Star break of losing.
Should just be
so
used to
nothing
this,
new
man.
on that front. not a very good baseball team right now, but maybe things will turn around for them.
Okay. Here's hoping. We got MVG. MVG, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. Great to be here. Been a good week.
A very busy week. Very busy week. A lot of things going on, so it should be a fun podcast tonight. We have Cassie Cage joining us tonight.
What is happening?
Are you switching roles now that Loki's over, or at least off until season 2?
Yeah, I guess I got bored, and you never know. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we're gonna get a sequel to that Mortal Kombat movie, so
yeah, man. You know,
it's
been a good week though.
How we doing? Yeah, it has been a good week. All right, we gotta go over to Jordan. Jordan, how's it going?
Good. Glad to be here. How's everyone doing?
Jordan, you've been rolling along there with the channel.
I mean, I'm grateful people are enjoying the content.
Good to see. We got OJ, Player Essence. How's it going, OJ?
Going pretty good. Very happy. Nigerians men basketball team knocked off USA.
Hey, by the way,
beat them. Yeah.
By the way, I saw that, OJ. And did you know Australia also beat the US men's national team?
Yes.
What is going on?
Blow that team up.
The team is kind of they're kind of short-handed, but
kind of garbage. They're garbage.
They're kind of short-handed, but listen here, okay? Nigeria doesn't win much of anything. So I was very happy that they actually, because they have some good players on the team. All right, they've got some good guys.
The Olympics still has to start. Like they're doing exhibition matches right now.
It's an exhibition match. It's a tune-up, but it's a big win for them, because they once again Nigeria is a very small basketball dude. I've been there multiple times. I haven't even seen a basketball court. I haven't even seen one, So the fact that they don't even have basketball courts, like a lot of them there. So the fact that they actually put together a team that was able to even compete was pretty cool, in my opinion.
Then we got Sean. How's it going, Sean? Still stuck in the NBA season over there.
I'm hot. I'm tired.
And you're wearing a Knicks hat.
I'm wearing a Knicks hat. Hey, Dame's coming though. Dame's coming.
Hey, you know what? There you go. You can always next season.
Okay, which one's gonna happen first? Dame to the Knicks or Dread at 3?
Nobody wants to go to Philly. Nobody wants to go because you know what the problem is with Philly?
I can only say that. No one does want to go to Philly, actually.
The problem with Philly is they've proven that you can have an all-star caliber team with an all-star caliber coach, quotations, and you still can't get shit done. It's been this way for years and years and years, and it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna either have to, move on and blow up the team, or just be in this state of stagnantness.
Here's the thing. I heard that Dame's buying Metroid Dread. I heard he's buying Metroid Dread this year, bro.
Two copies.
No, he got
multiple copies.
He got the Switch killer. He got the Steam Deck. He's good.
Oh.
He's got all of them. He's rich.
He is rich.
We got Evan. How's it going, Evan?
Going all right.
How are we doing over there? Good. Okay, cool. So we do have a lot to talk about this week. We also have a sponsor we'll get to later on in the show. That's going to be Honey. So shout out to Honey for sponsoring the podcast tonight. But we had the Steam Deck, of course. So we have new hardware to talk about, which is exciting. That's always fun. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword did come out on the Switch Friday. So we've had a chance to play some of that. We'll be talking about it. And then we also had a report that seemed to get a lot of traction. I was a little surprised on it about the cost differential for the Switch OLED model. There's a lot of thoughts on that one. I thought we could go over here as well. So what did you guys all want to talk about first? Do we want to start with this Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword game? You want to start with that?
Yeah, let's start with
this. This is a game podcast, right? I talk about a game on here. Why not? Let's do that. Let's actually talk about a video game here. So came out Friday. I just went to GameStop and picked up. They had posters. They gave me a poster for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing promotional
Just give me 2 posters.
Was it the raised one?
Yeah, it's raised. I was a little surprised. Like, there's some quality to that poster. So I mean,
how much was it? Was it 60? Was it 60 at GameStop?
It was 60. Yeah, but I had pre-ordered it a while ago. And no, actually, this one I pre-ordered when I pre-ordered the OLED model. Like just this week, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab that too. And they said they had posters. That I mean, I went ahead and picked it up and popped it in. And I like it more than I did on the Wii so far.
Yeah,
I will say that I like it more than I did on the Wii.
I'm liking it a lot. I didn't like the Wii One really not much at all. I thought it was okay. I mean, there was obviously some really cool stuff with it, but I just wasn't a huge fan of the motion controls. I know people like it, but I just wanted the option, and that's why this version's so much better, because you have the option. And the motion controls are improved, and they're also improved, and the button controls work well. I mean, it's not perfect, but they definitely work way better than trying to struggle with motion controls if you're not, doing, like, I've played multiple hours of the game now, and I'm really enjoying
I've played a couple of hours so far, and I haven't had any feeling of disgust like I did in the first one, where it was like an hour and I was like, oh, I might have to go lie down for a bit. No, the on the Wii, it just wasn't clicking with me. This one though, I do like the button controls more. I'm using those, but I did hear that someone on this podcast is actually using the motion controls, not using the button controls. MVG, what's going on over there?
I think the button controls suck. I can't play the game with the button controls. Let me say my piece, and then you can shit all over it.
No, I have a joke. MVG's that motherfucker who played Mario Kart Wii and always spam, I'm using motion controls. All right, go forward.
Tilt controls. I'm using tilt controls.
Yeah.
The problem I have with the button controls is you got to hold down that stupid L button to look around, right? I feel like if they flip the script around and basically let you look by default, and then you press the L button,
I like that idea
when you need to, I think that would make it so much better. And the other part that I don't like about the buttons is I can't get used to this slashing thing with the right stick. Like, I just sit there and I just just do this, right? Like, I can never get it right. So I always find myself going back to the motion controls, which are a lot more improved over the Wii version. And I think it's way better with motion controls, and that's how I play the game. But I will say that there are some parts of the game where I flip over to button to get some shit done, and then I go back to motion controls, if that makes sense. But as like, if I'm doing that in the game, then the controls still aren't perfect for me. Like, I'm still fiddling around with the controls. I'm fighting with the controls a lot. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the game. I think it's, like you guys said, it's way better than the Wii version, and I think it's a worthy upgrade. And it actually surprised me in many ways, because I was feeling a little negative about the game before it came out, but I think they've done a really good job on it.
Now, when you're doing the motion controls, are you sitting down and still playing the game like that? Or are you like full on standing up and playing?
I'm sitting down.
Okay, because I haven't popped any. I didn't have time to play it all yesterday, but I did, however, catch Miss Click's stream where for like 8 hours she was standing up playing with the motion controls, just standing for like 8-9 hours. And I'm just like, that's the most. You're doing the most. It was crazy.
Going all in, yeah.
All in.
There are some, you can tell that they sat down and they were like, all right, somehow this has to work with buttons. How are we going to do it? So like when they're like, we have you click in L to roll, and I was like, that feels weird. And then, like you said, MVG, with you got to hold L down when you go to swing the sword. There are times I'm just walking around and I'm like, what's over there? And I just rip my sword out in the middle of like a bunch of innocent people around me, and I start swinging it all over the place. And the combat still looks really funny, because whenever you're doing it, Link's just like pointing his sword just at everyone, just always pointing, and it's like it just doesn't feel as natural with the combat compared to other 3D Zelda games. But I mean, obviously they had a concept in mind when they made it. Now they're just trying to adapt it to just basically work on the Switch Lite, essentially.
Well, I think for me, and maybe it's just muscle memory, but when I think about Skyward Sword, I think motion controls, and that's just the way I think about that game. And so maybe I got to get past that, and give button a chance more. But like, every time I try it, I'm like, I'm going to give button layout a go, and I just I always go back. I just can't. It just doesn't feel good to me. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to stick with motion.
How do you feel about having to reset that viewpoint with the gyro?
It's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. It's Skyward Sword. There's going to be issues, right? There's going to be quirky things about the game. That's the one
advantage about the Wii, is it knew where the TV was, that sensor bar.
Yeah.
Can I finally talk about my favorite game in existence?
Yeah.
Go on.
No, 5 more minutes.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Miss Click.
I'm gonna say, actually, being completely honest, as someone who's had multiple playthroughs of the Wii version, the motion controls, in my opinion, you're having to recalibrate a lot more than you did in the original. Yep. Now, I'm gonna preface this saying I bought the golden Wiimote with the Wii Motion Plus included. If you bought an extension Wii Motion Plus, I don't have any experience with the game with that. I only had bought a new remote to go with this game.
Yep.
So me personally playing through the first game on the Wii, I had that many issues. And I'm finding myself having to relearn with the recalibration working differently than when I had just the sensor bar. Because if you remember when you first played the Wii version, is you'd set it down on a flat surface and it would calibrate and had to be completely still, and then it would center itself. And I found ever since then, very, very rarely did I ever find myself having to recenter, especially when doing things like dowsing or reusing items. I missed the wheel. Like, I don't know if you guys are a big fan of the wheel. Like, you can just keep running and then just choose your item right away. Like, I miss that. I miss it so much. It doesn't slow down time. It doesn't slow down combat. You just flick and switch, and it's great. I will say the game is crisp. It runs clean.
It looks good.
Yeah, I'm very excited, like watching everybody's reactions to the characters. And some people are like,
Is there a butt coming? Click.
Huh? No, for me, my biggest butt is I genuinely think a lot of people are like, oh, the motion controls are improved. But for me, I'm almost feeling like I'm recalibrating way more than I ever had to in the original. And this is from someone who has hundreds of hours in the first one. So, it's a little like, well, did you play through the entire thing with the motion controls? Because to me, I feel like a lot of people saying this, they either never played it or they just tried it once and then never picked it up again.
This is what we talked about with some Wii games that had like the pointer controls. I think for some of these games, like especially shooters, the pointer controls on the Wii are just better than the gyro controls on the Switch because it knows where the TV is. And the being able to like point and redirect the screen. I mean, with things like Splatoon, right? You have a lot of other elements going on, but the recalibration button is great. So I think for people who are used to using the recal button, like with Splatoon, for me, it's no big deal. But again, I'm like, man, I don't remember having to recenter myself so much during the original. And that's just because it kind of knew where it was at all times. Some people were even saying that their Wii Motion, like their bar broke. So they used the candles. Candles. Oh, yeah.
And they said that they had a great experience even with the broken bar. So I don't know. I think I'm glad that people are playing it and having the ability to play with the button controls. I mean, if you're surprised that they're a little wonky, I'm not saying anybody here, but like if you at home are surprised, why are the buttons so complex? I mean, how else are you going to try to incorporate a motion control based game?
Yeah, people thought it wasn't even going to be possible.
I knew it was on for the longest time as like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not. And then they did. So I think it's awesome that's brought over. I think, I do wonder like them sitting down at the table and then being like, okay, so how do we do this? Like, I wonder how that discussion went, and like how many different types of mapping they had to do for controls.
Honestly, like, again, I'm not a fan of the buttons, but if they gave me that if they gave me an option to reverse the L trigger or the the L button, that would make a big difference to me. I'd almost go to it at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like it could. It's possible I could see them doing some kind of update for that where it's like you just change it in the options or something. I don't know. Depends on how customized they want these controls to end up being as they go along. But I hear what you're saying with that MVG with again, I think at times I'm just exploring more than I'm even doing combat. So if I had to kind of pick which one I'm doing more right now.
The game's great. I mean, it's awesome. Like, I'm having a lot of fun playing it. I'm hooked on the game, and I'm going to give it another go because I didn't give it a fair shake the first time around. I didn't like it as much. This one is definitely better overall.
What about
me?
Story? Do you like the story so far?
I love it.
Yay!
And the music is some of the best music ever in the Zelda franchise. There's no question about that. It's just so good, So
it looks better visually, obviously, because they went up 1080p and all this fills out the widescreen, everything there. The character models look better, like much better than I was expecting, but the environments still look like they're Wii environments, just like upscaled. I don't know. Like when I'm looking around, I'm like, the characters almost look like they don't belong in these environments at times when they show them in it. But you can, like, I can kind of tell it's like an old game that they brought up for that. But like the character models almost looks like they did more work to them.
Did you guys see the tech analysis from Digital?
No, is that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's a lot more than what people thought it was going to be. They completely reworked some textures and some models and things like that. And like for example, like Link's like shoulder was like kind of like square or like pointed, they completely smoothed that out and made it like a normal shoulder blade, you know. So they actually did quite a bit of work, you know, at least more than what people thought. That was just going to be like, they're going to take the game, just put 1080p 60, right? But no, they actually went back and actually reworked some more. That's why it looks like you said, it looks a bit better than like, you know, them just upscaling it. But some of the environments are still kind of like, you know, the Wii.
This is one of the games that I would check out on the OLED like day one when that comes out.
Did you play it on your CX yet? Have you played on your CX?
Yep.
I played on the Sony I have upstairs.
I saw your tweet about it. Is it good?
Oh my goodness, bro. It's nuts on there.
Sean, let's hear it. I saw some tweets. I saw some stuff about this.
No, I mean, well, going back to the whole Wii versus Switch controller thing, I completely agree. I've actually been playing like a fuck ton of Wii games this past week. All this week, I only played Wii until Skyward Sword came in. I was playing Other M. I was playing The Conduit. I wanted to replay through that. Godfather, Scarface, because that came in. And like when games did it right, like it feels good. Skyward Sword never felt good to me. And like that's why I did not like the game. And this version, like I've already put like 13 hours into it, and a lot of that was actually yesterday. This chick wanted to go out for drinks. I was like, nah, I'm playing Skyward Sword. You know, I'm playing Zelda.
Girl down for Skyward Sword.
Well, hold on.
Turned her down. No, I said you can come through to the crib. So she came through instead. But anyways, like I played it for like 8 or 9 hours yesterday and for like 4 hours today. And like I am thoroughly enjoying myself. And the thing that blows my mind is, and I think this could be an interesting topic, how the game received a 93 on Metacritic when it came out in 2011 on the Wii, and it's an 81 now. And I get it. It's been a decade. There's been Breath of the Wild, blah, blah, blah. Look, I love the fact that this game is linear. I love the fact that there's proper dungeons in this game, because even the sections that I played when I played it on the Wii, I don't remember the solutions to the puzzles, and figuring out the puzzles and stuff is so much fun. The game looks good. The game looks better than it did. It runs better than it did. It controls a hell of a lot better than it did. I love the button controls. It's such a better experience. But we have it where it's like, when you look at it, it's like, you know, people who said that this game was, you know, one of the best Wii games ever, which I never thought that. And now it's like, oh, well, you know, it's an older game. Breath of the Wild's been out. You know, it's kind of, I was like, come on, man. If anything, I think it says a weird thing about the video game industry, how a game can have the exact same core gameplay, improve upon the things that were a problem, such as elongated tutorials, the visual style of the game not being HD, the fact that you had to do motion controls. It improved upon all of the main problems, but it's somehow an overall worse game. I would flip-flop them. I think The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on the Wii is a 7-8 at best. On the Nintendo Switch, I think it's an 8-9 at best. It's a better game.
I mean, you can't really, like, you have to think of it this way too. Media back in that day was a completely different animal, though.
Yeah,
and also
the clowns.
They're still clowns.
Oh no, I don't give a fuck.
They're
I'm tired.
Clowns.
Let's go.
We're clowns. We're clowns. We're all clowns. We're literally talking about entertainment for a living. Like, we're clowns. But this is the thing too, and a lot of people will relate to this as well. A lot of people loved Skyward Sword and they didn't realize there was so much hate for it until they finally started going online. That was the same experience I had. I loved Skyward Sword. Hold on.
What did you love about it?
What? I literally played through that game, and I have 2 sisters that can both attest to you. Like, all 3 of us sat down, we played it together, we enjoyed it, no problems whatsoever. So like, I have witnesses. If you, for some reason, people don't believe me.
Good sisters. My sisters never did that shit.
What?
I was like, when I'm telling you Zelda's like a special bond we share, like that's a real thing. But the fact is, also, I think a lot of like, the dynamic that the majority of people, you know, we think of like Twitter or YouTube comments or forums or whatever, they have a lot more say and a lot more influence nowadays on the vibe of things than they did back then. I think back then people would put out things first, and then that would kind of dictate how people felt or how they didn't. And we saw this because this game got a lot of hate from a lot of famous channels, and people didn't even touch it because of the hate from those specific creators, and a lot of those creators have acknowledged, wow, I was too harsh on this game, I feel bad about it. And then we also have a lot of outlets that they loved the game, they put it out, and then all the hate kind of acquired. There was a lot of bandwagoning on this game too. This is a very over hated game. It's not the best, but what game really is. I genuinely think that we're in a different element now where the media knows if they put too much of a good score on a game, people are gonna be like, oh, you're a sellout, oh, you're a shill, oh, you're being bought out, all this different kind of stuff. So I think giving it a more reasonable score on a game that's been so hated for a decade, I think to them it's just like, this is gonna give us the least amount of blowback. Or maybe it's people who legitimately hated on the game and they don't want to say it's better.
I think at the time it was being done on the Wii, and I feel like people were impressed that it was on the Wii, and they're just not impressed now with it on the Switch.
Sure.
I don't like that argument. I don't like that argument because there was better looking games on the Nintendo Wii. There was better playing games on the Nintendo Wii. What? If you even want to go down the Motion Plus route, Red Steel 2 played a fuck of a lot better than Skyward Sword did.
Was that Zelda Red Steel?
Is that why we gave it a 93? Is that like I just don't, but I do have a question, Ms. Click. When you first played this Skyward Sword on the Wii, did you play, what other Zelda games did you play before that?
I didn't touch Twilight Princess on the Wii. I hated the controls so much. If we want to talk about bad motion controls on the Wii for a Zelda game, Twilight Princess is atrocious. And I'm sorry, there's going to be a lot of people offended by that, but I played it on the GameCube. I played every Zelda that I could get my hands on up to that. It is a GameCube.
I think most people agree with that.
It is a better game on GameCube than it even is on the Wii U. Flat out. And so going from playing on the GameCube, my friend had it on Wii, and I was like, oh, let's try it. And then I tried the controls, and there's Navi flying all over the screen, and then you're just shaking, and I'm just like, this is horrible. And then I get to, you see the presentation for Skyward Sword. It's so shaky, and you feel bad for them, but you're also like, man, I don't know. I also know I don't like Link's pants. His pants look weird. Like, what's going on? And then finally, I get to it, and I'm like moving my arm, and he's moving with me. And
he's also right-handed in that one.
He is, so it goes a bit. That was a problem for lore. Yeah, a lot of people.
That's a problem.
Understandably, it's like, why? And why not make it left-handed, Able or whatever? But the point of the thing is, I had played every other Zelda I could and come up with my own determination. Twilight Princess is atrocious on the Wii. Like, if we're gonna compare them, Skyward Sword is so much better than Twilight Princess. It's not even close.
Honestly, Sean, I mean, I think the reason why it's an 81 or an 82 right now and it's not higher than the original is simply because the controls. I mean, if you look at the reviews, some people just can't get used to the controls. And
what did you say? The controls are better now than they were?
Well, I think they offer a better variety or a selection to suit your style, which I think is cool. But some of the reviews I read about the game, they couldn't like just get the controls at all. They just kind of struggled with them, and then they were like, well, this isn't really any better than the original game, and I think a lot of scores suffered due to that, but I think overall everything that they've done to improve the game is good, and I agree with you. I think it should be scored higher as well than an 81 personally, but I mean, I think the controls really is kind of the point where people just are really it's very polarizing.
Right. And one more thing to piggyback off of what Miss Click said, you said you hated Twilight Princess on the Wii and the controls are better than Skyward Sword. Oh no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Okay. But I just wanted to say that game has a 95 on Metacritic.
What's that? Twilight
for Princess. The Wii or for GameCube?
For the Wii. I'm looking it up right now.
What's the one for GameCube? Did they combine them? Or is it the same one?
No, it's a different one. But the reason why is because it's
because it was so new at the time.
It's Ocarina of Time. They're like it's the game that they showed us when everyone got super hyped.
It was
E3.
Yep.
So it was that game, and there was no way that
because it came after Wind Waker.
So I think at that point, if you're gonna look at things like that, right? If it's new and exciting, and they're going more off of the hype, and this is something new to try, would we say that journalism or reviewing has changed as a whole? We're much more, I think, picky.
You mentioned how like online people were raging against Skyward Sword before it came out here, right? Like We were doing that back in early 2000s, like 2001. The internet hated Metroid Prime. Everyone hated Wind Waker. So this is still this has been going on for decades.
Yeah, even look at Wind Waker when it first came out. It was like, and now it's Jesus Christ in video game form. So it's like, what? How are we getting influenced
back then? All right, Game Winners was trying to hunt me down.
I think a lot of people at this point, though, they don't want Skyward Sword to be like a Wind Waker. Like they still continuously, for some reason, want Skyward Sword to be like hated on for no reason. I'm like, dude, like you can admit.
I will say though, Twilight Princess is actually freaking amazing.
Twilight
Princess.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
They're all so different. Yeah. You can't compare Zelda games. Oh, John's gonna start a fight.
Wind Waker is fantastic, but I think that Wind Waker, hopefully it comes over. But I think that this game, like I agree with Sean. I think the button controls. I mean, if you played Metal Gear like Revengeance, then they're really
it has that similar.
Yeah, and I had no problem with that at all. So for me, picking it up and using the buttons, and I just use like the ZL, just like to kind of just move the camera quickly. So I mean, I haven't really had any issues, with that. And actually having a free camera is better than not having it at all. The other one didn't have it, So
I think for some people the button controls just work. It just clicks for them, it just didn't for me, man. Like I don't know. Like I'm gonna keep trying, but I just always go back to motion. It just feels more natural, because it's Skyward Sword. It has to be motion, right?
Nate's been pretty quiet over there with Skyward Sword being talked about.
One thing before we get to Nate, I want to say, Jeff Grubb says this still happens all the time. What was Cyberpunk's score at launch?
Oh no!
It's almost like the people who were talking bad about Cyberpunk and were worried about it were the ones that were crucified, and the people that were hyping it up were the ones that were praised. Oh, they know what they're talking about.
Jeff gave it a 60%.
He did. He got roasted a bit actually when he put that review out too.
And the game deserves it.
Weren't a lot of people who were hyping it up though? I mean, wasn't that a little bit different? Weren't they like fed something different than what they actually ended up getting?
Oh, you were hyping it up too, Click. Stop it.
Huh?
You were hyping it up too.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
I don't want to get into the whole Cyberpunk thing. I personally thought it was stupid that you could even customize your schlong. I was not excited for this game at all. I was fully
hyping it up after Keanu Reeves got on stage. You're like,
no, I'll hype up Keanu Reeves any day. That doesn't mean the game specifically.
You fell victim to Keanu Reeves' lust.
That me thinking Keanu Reeves is the sweetest, cutest human being ever who like doesn't even like touch women in photos because he's such a gentleman. Like me hyping him up as an individual, and I can't wait
because he's a gentleman or because he's smart.
He's freaking smart.
Okay, and smart. Let me add that to the list of things I love about him. That has nothing to do with how I felt about how this game was gonna be. I even said I will find someone. I'll pay someone to find the episode where I'm like, watch this game not even be as good as it's hyped up to be. And if you don't remember me saying that, no,
I don't know why.
I was like, what if this game's really not as good?
Jordan. I said for a year leading up to it that the problem with the game was that everything they were showing was what they wished it could be, and they cannot build it behind the scenes.
Yes.
And I said a lot of people are going to probably be disappointed with the final product.
I don't know. That's now guys trying to get Miss Click worked up after what she was doing in Loki. I'll be doing that. Let's go over here to Nate. Nate,
there's a lot of problems over there.
I was just messing with you, Click. I
don't have a crush on Keanu Reeves. Like he's the kind of person I could be like, yo, can you adopt me so I can just.
Yo, what about John Wick though? Come on.
Isn't that
I want to be. I want to
do that adoption thing like Woody Allen did, huh?
I don't know what that is.
Oh no! Calm down there.
Sean, that's a completely different situation.
I feel like I'm
really
blessed. I feel like I'm blessed to be oblivious to that, Sean.
A little.
No, if there's a celebrity crush I have, it's Charlie Cox. Okay, I'll admit that right now.
Nate, you've been
Charlie who?
Charlie Cox from Daredevil.
You've been quiet over there, Nate.
What was that, Click? Who? What was his name?
What?
Cox.
We're fine tonight.
Don't say that. Jesus Christ. People are going to clip that and like.
That's a clip.
Dude,
that's now an alert on Evan's channel. Evan's stream.
Hold up. I breathed yesterday during my Skyward Sword stream and someone clipped it and it just took off. I breathed, y'all.
Don't Don't go to
Stop
Evan's.
breathing so
Don't
much.
go to Evan's stream.
Breath of the Wild.
tomorrow.
I already got Nate for my donations. I'm trying to figure out where to put that.
All right,
Nate's the intro of my
Nate.
videos now.
Nate.
Yes.
The Skyward Sword talk. Do you have any input on this?
I didn't buy the game. Like I said, I wouldn't. Skyward Sword is my least favorite Zelda game. I went to a friend's house. They picked it up. I went over to try the button controls, and I agree with MVG. They are atrocious.
Thank you.
They do not work well. I understand why they are there. I can understand why some people like them. But what I would compare the situation to, that this is a game that was designed with motion in mind. We all know that. This is like taking a game that was designed with mouse controls and assigning that control to a D-pad. Yeah, it works, but it's far from ideal. And that's exactly what I'm getting with Skyward Sword here. Yeah, it's functional, but this isn't the way you're meant to play the game. The motion controls, slightly improved, still not accurate enough to really be heavily relied upon as an accurate means of play. So ultimately, this is still a game I'm passing on. I'm not buying it. And hey, if you like the button controls, cool. It's nice that they are there. I understand why they are there, but I don't think they got them to a functional point that they're serviceable at best.
Okay. That was actually a much more level with Skyward Sword being thrown around than I thought it would be.
No, it's still my least favorite Zelda.
Okay.
You're
Okay. Well, hold on. If
Like,
you had to play through one, would you rather play through Skyward Sword or Mario Sunshine?
I knew the sunshine was coming.
Which one?
Yeah.
You have to sit down and you got to play it start to finish. No stopping in between. You got it. That's it. You gotta-
Only if Dread. Only if
But I
Dread's
don't
supposed
have
be
to
moving
complete
copies.
it. I don't have
No,
to,
you have to finish
I don't
it.
have to 100% it.
No, you just got to finish the game, start to finish.
Probably Sunshine because it's less time and you can just get the minimum amount of shines to get to the end.
Okay.
Sounds like someone's completed it.
Whereas Skyward Sword, you still kind of have to trek through a lot of the
Nate.
linear. But
Nate.
in this new one, I can skip ahead in a lot of the dialogue, so that kind of helps the pacing.
Nate,
So
did you at least watch
yeah.
the game?
What?
Did
I
you at
beat it
least
on
watch-
the Wii 10 years ago. I
Oh, you
reviewed it
did
on the
beat it.
Wii. I was one of the
Okay.
people who probably overrated it 10 years ago.
You reviewed. it
Oh,
on the
wait a
Wii.
minute. Hold on. Can we find
Why?
Nate's
Hold
review?
on. What
I
changed?
gave the game back then like a 9.5. Looking back on
Why?
it,
So you're a
absolutely
liar?
high.
Fool.
Nate lied.
Hold on. You got
Got
a
you.
fraud here, Nate. Hold on.
Who's
No,
got
look
you?
back at
Nate
it.
lied. Grub
At the
cried.
time,
What
I had no
happened?
problems with the controls.
I just
Controls were
realized
never
we
a
can-
problem with me with this game. The
Wait, we
flaw
can-
was just the pacing.
So you can answer Sean's question then. Hold on. Sean, we just had a massive discovery here, Sean. You missed it
What?
in the 2 seconds you stood up.
I had to get a paper towel, dude. I was sweating like a fucking.
Called deodorant.
No, my face. It was like dripping down my face.
Okay.
You got an air conditioner? You ain't got.
Okay. Okay. So last night I'm laying in bed and I hear a noise and it's like 4 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I had a friend that was over or whatever, and I was like,
Did she enjoy it? Did she like Skyward Sword too?
She did. She was complaining the whole
Sword
time.
involved. Yeah.
I mean, she was complaining about like the game's design and stuff. She was like,
She got real
confused.
technical with it. She was-
No, she had no idea what the fuck was going
You're
on.
having a
But
great
anyways.
discussion at 3 a.m. about Skyward Sword's technical design.
No, we were going. Okay. Anyways, so I hear this noise. I'm like, fuck, is somebody trying to break in or something like that. Maybe it's like one of her crazy exes or something like that. So I get up, and what I do is like, anytime I hear a noise, like I just start yelling shit because I figure like if a robber is like in your house and like someone's like, yo, I'm fucking crazy, man, I'm fucking crazy. Like they'll be like, what the fuck is going on here? So
Like, oh, okay, this guy lives here is black. I'm out.
Shut up. But anyways, so the noise was because like in my condo there's a wall AC unit. Like it doesn't have central AC, but like the wall AC unit's fine. It gets the place cold. And it, like I don't know if it like exploded or something or what. And like it was fucking broken. And so I have a portable AC unit that I've been cranking, but it doesn't work as good as that. And like it was like I couldn't sleep because now I'm pissed off that this thing is broken. It's like 5 a.m. I'm out there. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just like hitting stuff and like trying to move stuff in like the actual air conditioner unit part, and like I turn around and the fucking raccoon is just like literally sitting there staring at me like 1 inch away from me, and I'm like, what the fuck do you want? And so we ended up eating a slice of pizza together because he looked hungry and I was a little hungry too.
You and the raccoon?
Yeah. The girl was asleep.
No, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, man, yeah. So, and like people are like, oh, just call your landlord. First off, I don't even have my landlord's number. I don't want to call my landlord. I don't want to talk to my landlord. I want to give him his money and then be on my way. You know, I don't want people in here prying and poking around at stuff. So I will figure something out with this air. We're getting towards the end of the summer. But yeah, that's why I had to get up, because I needed a paper towel to wipe my dripping wet face. What did I miss?
There was a very long explanation for why you needed a paper
You can get a
towel.
window AC unit or something, I guess.
Don't you have a standing fan in your room?
No, I have a portable AC
it
unit.
Oscillates.
Yeah, no, but I mean the portable AC unit is good. It's just like it's not good. It's not great for the living room, because I had to buy that when I lived in my house in North Carolina that didn't have air, because the fucking landlord kept saying, oh yeah, we sent someone to fix it. And so I would set traps out around the air conditioner, because it was central air. I'd set traps up around the air conditioner unit so that way I could see if somebody actually went to the house. And so I called her one day. I was like, oh, did you send someone out today to look at it? Oh yeah, I did. I was like, oh, that's funny, because I set up traps and none of the traps were triggered. So
did they ask you why you set up traps?
No, but she ended up giving me free rent. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll just stay in this stifling house. But yeah, like I don't want to deal with landlords and stuff like that.
I was able to find my draft of I gave it a 9, not a 9.5. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
What?
Yeah, okay, Sean. Okay, so we made this revelation while you stood up and got a paper towel, is that Nate was one of the ones who reviewed Skyward Sword back in the
10
day.
years ago.
Yep, and
But you don't like the game.
Guess what score he gave it? Guess the score.
Well, he just said he gave it a 9.
No. He said he gave it a 9.5.
No, I gave it a
said
9.
he
I just found the
9.
draft.
Okay, give it a 9.
Why would you give a game you don't like a 9?
Because I gave it a 9 based on what the game proposed, and I distracted a point from the pacing and some of the inconsistent from the controls. Overall, my experience with the game was generally positive, but I did have major issues with the pacing, and that's why it is my least favorite Zelda. And it's why I never replayed it, because the pacing of the original release was too much of a slog to go back to.
And you know what?
But the check you got was too nice.
This is why I don't do scores on my channel, because I feel like when I'm talking about a game, I want my words to be the score. I want you to get the feeling.
You can read the 3,000 word review.
No, I don't have time for that.
And that's why there's scores.
But see, the thing is, I want people to be able to assess it. You know, if they want to give it a score or something. If a game has major problems, whether it be pacing, whether it be, and I thought you hated the controls, but okay. If a game has major problems, but it's still a really good game, like to me, that's like a 7 or an 8. And some people would, you know, cry a river over that. So it's just like, well, I'm gonna skip the number. Just listen to what I'm saying and, you know, understand where I'm coming from with it. But that's crazy. A 9 for a game you didn't like.
I'm not high on Skyward Sword, and I look back at it, and yeah, probably now going back to it, I probably would have given it closer to a 7.5 or an 8.
Did you review Sunshine?
No,
damn.
not that old.
But no, what did that come out in?
Sunshine.
2001.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
So
that's
we would
2003.
have been
years ago.
We would have been in high school.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
could have been writing for the newspaper, with a little school paper.
All my fellow students, I hate Mario Sunshine.
Reviews they change over time. I mean, this is a decade ago. How many people who originally reviewed Skyward Sword 10 years ago are reviewing the HD remaster? Probably very few.
But why and that's fine. Like, I understand that. And in my video, I say that, you know, I understand it's not the same people doing it. But what has changed with reviews or how we look at something?
Standards of reviews have changed.
But I'm not talking about necessarily about the standard of the review, because I mean, you could debate that all day, because there's terrible reviews out there for stuff. I'm more along the lines of talking about how we got to a point of where this game is a great video game. Oh, you know, this game's not a great video game anymore. It's like, what happened? What did we change?
Well, it's also different people reviewing it too.
But man, that's the thing, is that you're gonna have a new.
But it's a general consensus.
But you're gonna have a new
going
generation of reviewer who's grew up with a different spread of games coming into Skyward Sword now, and they're gonna say, I don't recognize what's really that special about this game compared to the standards of gaming today. So they're gonna come in at an 8.
So basically, we need to start listening to old
it might have
people
been
only.
just more of a revolutionary experience to some people, so you gave it a higher score.
To
So
be
the
honest,
standards of
you-
reviews have changed based on the reviewers of the time.
The same thing would happen though with different games. If you had someone who wasn't very familiar with Ocarina of Time or very familiar with Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, even, they'd probably give it different scores. I mean, some people are gonna feel differently. I think if you even had younger people play these games and review them differently without a bias, who have other experience with games, they're gonna come in with a very different mindset. I mean, times change, and it's cool to see how it ebbs and flows. But you know, what I'm mainly excited about is I'm seeing how many people have fallen in love with the game. So I'm very glad that people are getting a chance, and there will be people outside the original 3.2 million that are getting a chance to fall in love with
There you
these new
go.
characters.
That's all it is.
Yep.
Evan, we got Discord question over there.
Would it be awesome if there was a Zelda-themed Souls game that existed that took place in the Fallen Hero timeline?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I would like to see a Souls game. That'd be interesting. Because we have like the
I
Warrior
hate
style
Souls
game.
games.
Let's go to Souls game.
I'd do it.
Let's do it. That would be cool. Complete motion controls from Skyward Sword.
So okay,
There we
let's-
go. Let's
Nah.
go. We got another Discord question.
Who will
Evan?
your main and Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl be?
Hey,
I might have to pull up the list because there's like 20 characters.
I'm going
right?
Captain Toast. Captain Toast.
Yes, there. Right now, I'm looking forward to this. This is from the Slap City developers. Okay, so there's wave dashing in the game. Okay, it has rollback netcode. Apparently has rollback
Let's see
netcode.
this Nickelodeon.
And right now, at this point, they have All Real Monsters, which is one of the most underrated shows ever made. And Oblina's in, so definitely Oblina main here. Let's go.
Why are we so excited for this game?
I just told you.
Game Mill is publishing it. And we
just
looked
told
at
you.
Game Mill's pedigree of
No.
games they decided to publish.
It's the developers
It's not
from
great.
Slap. It's the developers from Slap City. Slap City's a really good platform fighting game. That's really good. So it's the same developers, and once again, it has wave dashing in there and rollback netcode already. So that's why it's got people excited. Because there's some pedigree there with Slap City, and the fact that there's rollback, and once again, wave dashing. So you have good movement options, and it's like Nickelodeon. It's like all these dope Nickelodeon characters. I mean, they have Powdered Toast Man.
dude, this
Like,
is
I
literally
know.
this is Jordan's game, man. This
Yeah, I
is
thought-
Jordan's game.
I thought I saw. I'm looking at like the confirm list, at least on.
You're
a
in the
website
game,
here.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I'm
Is it
thinking
wasn't
either.
Jenny the robot from My Life as a Teenage
Is
Robot
she
in
in?
this?
I
thought-
don't think it's confirmed.
I thought I saw images
yet.
of her, unless that was like a meme edit.
It might have been a silhouette. Like they're going to add more characters. There's still more surprises, but like they haven't announced any Avatar characters. They haven't
Dang.
announced
From who they've listed so far, I don't know. I think it'd be funny. I'll probably pull out a Helga Pataki.
Yes.
But
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I might either the basics
Maybe
with
football
Leonardo
here.
or Zim, maybe Invader Zim. That'd be cool.
I would love Cat Dog in there that lets you like switch
Yeah.
between their different attacks as you're
I
fighting.
just want Doug characters. Just make it Doug Fighter. There's enough characters in there.
What's he gonna
and
do?
I'm
Walk
Doug.
around with his hands in his pockets, Sean?
Yo, the soundtrack's gonna be dope.
What?
for that
When
game.
did Doug walk around with
Doug,
hands?
yeah, Doug never
Oh,
walked
no,
around with
like,
his
when I
hand
think-
in
when I-
pockets.
When
Doug
I think
is-
Doug,
was it-
that's what I think about. I just think about
Yeah,
a
but
dude
you-
who just kind of walks around.
Occasionally, he wore big suits
No.
and banged on trash cans. I mean,
Yeah,
But
you
the
fucking
problem is-
Quail Man. You're gonna shit on Quail Man? Come on.
Quail Man, dude.
Quail
Okay,
Man,
Quail Man,
Quail Man would be
yeah.
overpowered.
I can do Quail Man.
things.
Okay.
Quail Man would be overpowered unless you had Percy Femur in
When-
there.
when
Yeah,
Roger-
would pound everybody.
Yo, if they put
Was it-
Summer Sanders in the game, the Olympian who hosted Figure It Out, that'd be amazing.
Phil Moore in
great.
there. That's what they need to
Phil
do.
Moore.
Mark Summers.
Let's go another Discord.
George
question,
Lopez
Evan.
because of Nick at Night. That's funny.
fond summer break gaming memories.
Summer break gaming memories. Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like trying to think. No, that was definitely during the summertime where we'd go on vacation, and I remember bringing. I feel like it was the GameCube because I think of Rogue Squadron was out at the time that I got. And you go on vacation, you're supposed to be doing things like going to the beach and stuff, and I'm just playing GameCube. I specifically remember that. I think it was that and Sega Soccer Slam, which was kind of like a Mario Striker style game back in the day. Those are the days, though. Just go on a vacation and not at all going outside and just playing games on vacation. Yeah, that was it.
I think my favorite one probably would have to be my parents always loved having a whole bunch of people over at our house, and I was very lucky. We had tons of kids in the neighborhood, so we would all come over and we'd have a couple different TVs with Smash Melee. And my mom just has really old, like really crappy, like photos with her new digital camera at the time of all of us just like sitting there playing Smash, and she'd be like, smile, and so we're all like, huh. But that was fun, like, because we'd go to different people's houses and play Melee. I had so much fun. I miss those days.
I remember WCW NWO Revenge was like the big thing. Like I'd have a bunch of friends come over and stay the night, and we'd play that. And
oh yeah, no mercy, no mercy.
I didn't really, as a kid, I didn't super get into No Mercy because I preferred WCW at that time. And then when No Mercy came out, my love of wrestling was starting to dwindle a little bit. So I kind of missed out on that as a youth.
Okay. That's fine. So let's move over here. We've got some of the Discord questions, and we're gonna do the super chats here in a second. But first, Sean, I need to talk to you about some online shopping.
I shop online a lot.
Wait, you do?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Okay, because we all do shop online. This sponsored by Honey. Big shout out to Honey for sponsoring tonight's podcast. We've all seen that promo code field at the bottom, Sean, right? Taunting us. What have you been online buying with Honey recently?
Well, I mean, my favorite thing right now with Honey has to be the whole the pricing chart thing, where like they'll tell you like if it's gone up or it's gone down or if it stayed the same, so that way you know when to actually buy stuff. Because like I buy my Zevias because God forbid Zevia sponsor me and send me some free drinks. I buy my Zevias off Amazon, so like some days it'll be like $1 or $2 more for a case, and then some days it'll be like $1 or $2 less. So I use Honey to sort of plan when I need to order some more Zevias based on those days.
That's right, because when you check out, that Honey button drops down. All you have to do is click apply coupons, and you just save a bunch of money doing that. Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free, installs in a few seconds, and by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Never recommend something I don't use. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/spawncast. That's joinhoney.com/spawncast. Once again, big shout out to Honey for sponsoring the podcast tonight. So do want to go over to the Steam Deck, because this was something that I feel like we had heard about this before. Like this had been mentioned in, I think it was a data mining that took place, and it was the Steam PAL in that data mining. And then we just got it out of nowhere. It was like Valve just showed up. They had this whole thing with IGN. Here's the Steam Deck. It's starting at $399, so $400, and it's a pretty well-equipped machine for that pricing right now. They already started reserves. I got the 256 gigabyte model. MG, I saw you posted you got the 512.
Got the 512. Yep.
You got the 512. Okay, so we just have those two locked in. I was curious if anyone was really going for that 64 gigabyte model, because I mean, $399 is pretty good for that. But I feel like a lot of people I saw online were going for one of the two higher end models. I think just because the faster storage. It does have SD card slot as well. But it got announced, and you know what? The reception to this was it was more popular even than I thought, because we've had these handheld PC gaming devices before. I feel like it was Valve, so people got really excited at it, and then the pricing was shown, and it's like if you look at the GPD win. I mean, GPD wins like $800 some odd dollars. Mm-hmm. So like this is a very aggressive price. Of course, it gets immediate comparisons to the Switch because it's a handheld gaming device and all of that's similar form factor. You got to get the dock separately. But that pricing's pretty good. So what do we think of the Steam Deck after it got unveiled? What was that, Thursday?
Thursday. I think it's interesting. Like, Valve don't have a great track record with hardware. I mean, let's get that out of the way first, right? They've done the Steam Link and the Steam machines and the Steam controller. All of those things have been pretty much dead on arrival type stuff, right? Steam machines especially was supposed to revolutionize PC gaming, and it never did. So with that said, I mean, looks interesting for $399 as the cost of entry. I mean, I think the specs of the hardware are really, really good for $399. You get some really great performance for $399, and that's probably enough for me to kind of take notice and say, yeah, this is interesting. You know, like, you know, being able to play. I mean, they said AAA games on this thing on your PC games, but being able to play, we'll say 2019, 2020 games on this thing is kind of cool, and I want to see more of it. You know,
it's using RDNA 2, so it's using the same setup, essentially chip level as what we have in the newer consoles with the PS5 and the Series S and X. I mean, it's not as powerful as any of those, obviously, because it still has to run off a battery. But for the specs that they have here, is quad core with 8 threads for AMD Zen 2, GPU speed up to 1.6 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 memory. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty impressive on the RAM side. I almost think that they probably played around with the idea of 8 gigs, and then they realized, oh, this also has to run like an operating system on top of that. That's not as light as, say, what's on the PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch or any of that. So from the RAM perspective, I mean, it's pretty solid even to load up Windows if you want, because you'll be able to load up your own operating system there, which means I think we're going to see some emulation videos from you, right, MVG?
Well, that's the thing that I'm really interested in. Like, I love the fact that you can play PC games on this thing, but I don't care about that stuff, honestly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reformat this thing, put Windows on it, put Dolphin on it, put Cemu on it. I'm going to run PSP, GameCube, Switch, N64. I'm going to run the whole Saturn, all that stuff, and I think it's going to be a killer emulation device. And I think that's what really is compelling for me.
Piracy.
What? No, I own all these games, dude. What are you talking about?
So I have
own
a
every
question
game
though. What do you guys think or predict the battery life is going to be like?
Well, they said 2 to 8. They said 2 to 8 hours. I mean, which is
big range
ridiculous,
though.
right?
Six hours is a very big range.
I think
it'll be on the
runs
lower
for
end.
just under 2 hours or something
Honestly,
crazy.
if you like load that up and put just a 2020 game on there, it's gonna drain the battery pretty quick, I think.
Yep. I think you're getting 2 hours at best out of something
Tops,
like
yeah.
So you're
Control
basically-
or Doom Eternal. Or
You're basically saying is you want to have a power bank with you at all times.
I mean, especially if you want the brightness up and all this,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
But if you're playing like smaller indie titles, for example, or like MVG with emulation, maybe you get like 4 or 5 hours, something like. I think that 8 hour mark. I don't know. I don't even know what 8 hours would be, because I feel like most of the games you're going to load up are going to tax it somewhat to the point where you're not even going to see that 8 hour mark.
And this connects online as well for like online games. All that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a mini PC. It has Bluetooth, has Wi-Fi, has that next gen Bluetooth feature that we've been. And I guess the Switch 2 will show.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have Wi-Fi. Yep. USB Type C with DisplayPort 1.4. So technically, its output is up to 8K to like a monitor. I don't think we're going to be playing any games in 8K with it. But
Speaking of, how much is the dock?
no word on that yet.
They
We're
haven't
still
said
waiting
that
for
yet,
availability and pricing.
You can use though a USB like hub, like powered hub that you have already if you already have that. So,
You could.
but obviously their dock is going to be probably better than what you got lying around.
Yeah.
I have a feeling their dock's going to be like $100.
Minimum would
Probably.
probably be 100, yeah, minimum. Or
It
like
looks like
7.
they
I mean, maybe 79.
I mean, it looks like they shoved every connector they could. They had to turn the one USB port sideways to fit it on there because they were putting so much on it. So,
And that's the other thing. The button layout looks kind of weird.
Oh, it's horrible.
yeah, I
No,
was
it's
confused
horrible
about that.
But people say that
Horrible.
they've tried it. They say that it feels good. Now I don't know if that's
People
just
also said that
marketing.
Skyward Sword on the Wii was a 93 and one of the best games on the Wii. I don't trust no one.
You
Hold on,
have no
can we
proof
check
they
their
were.
review?
You have
Hold
no proof they were the same people who
There's
said
this
that.
review
Could
here
have been.
from Nate that says 9. What's this about?
And the
Hey.
Metacritic scores would agree with me.
It's a good
Yeah,
game.
but I want to hear what you
Alone.
think, not what the meta.
It's also-
thinks.
So,
Oh gosh,
as far as history is concerned, the score I gave is
not
accurate.
again.
Products are products of their time. Anything can look back on after a decade, 15 years, 20 years after and say, how did they get a score this high? It happens with everything.
Chrono
How did
Trigger
Sunshine get a
sucks.
score
Chrono
that
Trigger
high?
sucks.
Chrono Trigger is trash.
There's tons of games that
Not
nobody
the
says anything
Andromeda
about
was
that.
bad
Horrible.
then, and it's still bad now.
Not just
horrible.
pick a game beyond. Don't pick great game. It also goes to movies. How many movies? How many TV shows are just products of their time?
Movies are all
It was
bullshit.
good then, but it
Watch
wasn't
your
really
mouth.
good.
Now it's like
Watch your mouth, Sean.
He's not wrong.
The Titanic sucks. I hated it back then. It sucked back then, and it sucks.
So
now.
There will be people who
that's
tell you
fair.
Titanic isn't a good movie now.
But
the device-
Titanic,
I will tell you that.
Yeah, and you're
The-
wrong.
The Steam Deck's also going to weigh 1.5 pounds,
Oof.
according to
Yeah.
their they have a whole
Yo,
spec sheet here.
Get ripped. Y'all want to get fit? Let's go.
669
Steam
grams.
This is your
called
chance.
Steam Man.
Tell
We're
it,
called the
baby.
Steam Man.
How is it not called the Gabe Boy?
Also,
Like, that
we
was the
found
best.
out
The Game Gear
exactly
Pro,
where
yeah.
Nintendo and
Fringe.
we figured out exactly where Nintendo and Valve agree on cutting costs, and that's the screen. 7-inch 1280 by 800 screen in this, so you're basically going to run like essentially a 720p.
I
Why
do
didn't
find
you
it
choose-
very. I find it very ironic how a lot of people that I follow on Twitter that are into like PC gaming and stuff. Now all of a sudden it's okay to have a essentially a 720p screen.
I think
now
the thing
it's
with
okay.
this, it's that number. I feel like people look at it and say it has to be 1080p, but then you get into like pixel density and all this, and it's just not that big of a difference to where I bet you Valve themselves ran focus groups and had all these surveys stuff, and they were basically trying to figure out, do we need 1080p? Like, and
Oh yeah, and I completely understand
They
why
probably
companies
put a-
do that.
they probably put a 720p image in front of people on the screen, and then they were like,
You can tell
what
difference.
resolution is this? And
probably-
people were like 1080p.
They also probably put a 1080p screen in there and said, we just went from 2 to 8 hours of battery life to 30 minutes
Yeah.
to 4 hours
Yeah.
of battery life. What do we prioritize? The gap between this resolution difference to the consumer isn't wide enough to justify giving you virtually no
Okay.
battery
Well, I
life. So
think
let's go
what
to
Sean is-
720p and people will be happy.
What Sean is saying here is that that's always been known, but it was but now it's not a problem.
But
now. You know what I
Right.
think that's what Sean's
Right.
trying to say.
There are-
Yeah,
It's
it's
always-
funny.
the whole power, the whole like with the battery life and all that. That's been known for years, but now it's okay because Valve did that. I think that's what Sean's trying to say.
Yeah.
I
follow
mean,
some people
maybe,
that
but I
Sean's
feel
talking
like
about
part
here.
of it was that some games that were coming out on the Switch that were already on PC had to like cut frame rate, textures, and everything just to get people on screen for you to look at. Whereas this one sounds like it's not necessarily going.
Oh
to
yeah, I
have
mean, here's my thoughts on the Steam Deck. I'll keep it short and sweet. As a piece of technology, it's great. Is it better in terms of specs than the Nintendo Switch? It shits all over the Nintendo Switch for most things. Battery life, you can make the argument, but obviously, it's going to be a better experience. When I've seen a lot of people talking about third-party games. Yeah, it's going to be a better experience on the Steam Deck. The problem, the comparisons. Yeah, but the comparisons to the Switch, it's very apples and oranges to me because this whole thing relies on Steam. It's not like there's going to be exclusives for this device. It's going to be a very neat product. It's going to be something that it looks like, at least for now, Valve is the only company or is where you get this. It's not like you're going to be able to walk into a store. And as stated by MVG earlier, looking at Valve's track record with hardware, I mean, I know some people don't like data, but statistically speaking, it hasn't been that great. So I think it's going to be a very cool product. I do want one. I haven't gotten one yet. I don't think it's going to be, I'll be very interested to see who's talking about this in 6 months to a year.
Here's my thing, because people look back at like Valve's previous stuff with hardware, and outside of like Steam controller, they did the Steam box, right? And they let all these companies come in and try to make Steam boxes, and it was a mess because like we had Alienware come in and do some, and I think Gateway tried to do it. It was like all these random companies. So like the entire front page of Steambox was just all of these weird looking desktops, and some were good quality, some were bad quality, some were priced way too high. This is just Valve seemingly trying to be really focused and be like, okay, we're gonna almost treat this like we're launching a game console. Just about it's like it's one system. Our logo's on the back of it. Their logo apparently appears to be on the chip based on the rendering they even did. So it's like completely across the board. We're not gonna have Acer come in and make one of these things right now. It's just you buy it from us and that's it.
It's Steam looking to expand their reach in the PC ecosystem by going after the portable PC. And their only true competition in this market is the GDP win, which has been mentioned is 2-3 times higher priced. And this isn't a zero-sum market. where the presence of the Steam Deck all of a sudden cancels out the Switch. Will there be some overlap in terms of consumer interest? Yes.
Sure.
Look to like MVG as an example of that. He'll pick up a Steam Deck. It doesn't mean all of a sudden now the Switch is impacted by it. The amount of people who are going to have an overlap in this is going to be minuscule. The overall impact either of these two platforms actually have with each other is inconsequential. The Steam Deck is not a competitor to the Switch. The Steam Deck is no more a competitor to the Switch than it is a competitor to Microsoft or Sony. And yet that conversation has not come up in any topic. Why is this always just focused on the Switch? Then this should also be targeting PS5 and Series X or Series S, because at the same time, you can take Game Pass on the go with your phone. Well, I can do that with the Steam Deck now.
It's because they look alike, Nate. That's literally the most elementary conclusion they're bringing to this.
Well, that's it. It is. It's elementary. It's for the feeble-minded to say, look, portable, that like Switch. Like, no, there's a lot more to it. And
wait, are you telling me people online don't think complexly about things?
People online don't think. We don't have to go to complex. We can cut the sentence off.
It's all about impulse, baby.
People online don't think. But
what are you trying to say? Just because I bought two handheld systems on the same day, what are you saying, Nate?
You didn't think that purchase through.
Which one? Hold on, Nate. Which one? Which one didn't he think through? Well, go ahead and say it. Which one?
The latter.
You don't want to say it out loud. It says Switch OLED.
But that's like, MVG and I will debate this topic in a Nate the Hate coming up next week.
I'm just giving us the tip, huh?
Yeah, we're giving the tip right now. But this isn't a competitor to the Switch, and there is ample reasons as to why that is. Is there a market for this device? Absolutely. Will it sell to that market? Yes. Is this going to be the next 100 million selling piece of hardware introduced to this industry? Absolutely not. And I've seen people reference, there's 1 billion Steam accounts. Well, 1 billion people aren't buying this product.
Well, the Steam accounts, that's always like overinflated, because like if you sign in,
I have a Steam account. I have one game on it.
A junk laptop, they count you. Or you sign it on your phone, they count you.
It doesn't really count.
Metric.
It doesn't count like the bots that they use to try to like steal people's accounts and get all their crap off.
Well, that's why that's why you go on Steam and you can look up like the average resolution that people play it on PC, and it's like less than 1080p, I think, because people have those 1366 by 768 laptops that they'll like they'll just download Steam automatically and just sign in, and that'll count that. So I mean,
it's an engaging piece of hardware, and it will be curious how it's used. Like MVG mentioned, the emulation sector of it, that's going to produce some very interesting results, and I'm curious to see what they are able to produce on the hardware in terms of emulation. This is like you mentioned with Dolphin and stuff like that. That is going to be something that people should keep an eye on.
I edit a video on it.
It's going to sell 10 million units.
Yeah, you can.
Interesting.
What's really cool about this, though? What's really interesting is, I mean, this is AMD showing up with a better low-powered chip than NVIDIA.
But it's also very recent, and NVIDIA can introduce a chip, let's say next year or the year after, and they could
I like
feasibly,
the idea of this.
But like NVIDIA can easily pass this in another year or 2 years.
I want them to.
So
yes,
like this is interesting technology. I think it's also about just the framing of it, of how we went with Nintendo of here's this OLED model, and a week later, here's AMD saying, we can give you current high-end PC games running at high to medium settings in a portable. And it's kind of like, wow, that X1 is beginning to show its age. It's now very prevalent to this idea that that X1 is a 5 to 6 year old chip. What can NVIDIA do with modern technology, modern efficiency, DLSS, those types of features? And it kind of gives you a glimpse, not necessarily a full-on hint, of what Nintendo could potentially partner with NVIDIA going into a new piece of hardware. And I think that's more exciting than the Steam Deck itself.
Yeah, but what's really cool is technically, like, Valve had to do a lot to get to $400 with this thing. Like, it doesn't even come with the dock. So I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, even if Nintendo came in with NVIDIA and they gave like half of what we see here with this Steam Deck, based on what they've been able to do with the current Switch through optimization, all the low level stuff they do on the OS
it would
side,
produce
they would still be able to be very
results.
similar. Yeah, that's why I'm like, this is good. I want NVIDIA to get pushed around a little bit in the low power sector here with these chips, so that they produce something really really strong, powerful, performance wise, much better than what we have now with that X1. And I mean, we see some chips come out, but a lot of times it's for self-driving cars and deep learning. I want to see that consumer level chip that they drop in that Shield TV, a new one, and then they also drop it in whatever Nintendo's going to do with the Switch.
I do as well, but I also have some reservations about the heat and the heat draw that this thing is going to produce.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good question too.
The Switch, I mean, we know Nintendo, their main focus on the Switch is battery life. You know, keeping that battery life down, keeping the system as cool as possible, keeping the power and performance to a level where it doesn't burn your hand off when you hold the thing in handheld mode. I do wonder, you know, if you're playing, like, let's say Elden Ring comes out next year and you're playing it on your Steam Deck, right? Which sounds pretty amazing to think about, right? But how is that going to actually perform as far as like how much heat is going to come out of that?
There's going to be some throttling with that.
Well, that's the thing. There might be. What kind of fans are they going to put on this thing? Are the fans just going to blow it 100% all the time? Because things like that really take away from the user experience and make you feel like this is not really, this is not really
well, if
something
you get those
that
Bluetooth headphones in, maybe you won't hear it.
You know what you could do? You get some Raycon headphones.
Oh, hold on. They're not in the description, okay?
I don't have that. I don't have that set up, man.
Oh, sorry.
On Honey? Can you get them on Honey?
You can get those on Honey.
There we go. Okay, we tied it in. All right.
Yeah, you can get them on Honey, and Honey will find you a discount code when you go to checkout.
So I am curious to see the internals of this thing when it comes out. I'll be opening it up and taking a look at it.
We'll rip that thing apart.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't wait to see that.
I mean, look at the battery. It's a 40-watt battery.
What is this, a tanning salon?
What?
That was not the wattage of the bulb, Sean.
It was 60. I know it was 60, but it's close.
Yes, it was a 60-watt bulb.
I think specifically the build of this thing is with Valve's history. I don't feel like their Steam controller is high quality when I pick it up. It doesn't feel high quality anyway. So like, I want to see what they get out of this one when it comes down to the build quality of it, and that newer chip from AMD getting cooled, how they have that all set up. I mean, it seems like they have plenty of space. The thing's huge. It's not pocket sized. That's probably why it comes with a case. So
honestly, I think that's why I bought one, because if the system itself isn't particularly great as far as build, I still feel pretty confident it's going to run emulators pretty well. So
I mean, people say the index feels really good, and that's the most recent thing they put out. So maybe they do actually give a shit. So
I mean, this is what, a foot? This is like a foot long, isn't it?
It's pretty big. Yeah,
it's 3 times as thick as a Switch.
It looks like a Game Gear and a Nomad.
That's what I was gonna say. I want to know why the design
team links in there too.
Why did the design team say, you know what, the Game Gear is what we're inspired by?
Because the Game Gear was great.
Yeah, it took like 6 batteries that died in 2 hours. So I get it is pretty similar. It was pretty similar.
That's the thing.
The Game Gear.
They looked at the battery life of the Game Gear and said, we're replicating that. Let's honor that system too. Make it look like it. That B button is going to get stuck. It's going to fall off the system somehow.
Did we look at that? I was going to say, we all looked at that controller, and like when I saw where the D-pad and the ABXY, I did have to kind of like double take and be like, that's where they're putting them?
Well, they have the track pads, which I thought that was pretty cool though. I wonder if it worked well.
That's what they have on the Steam controller. I use it a lot.
It doesn't work that well?
No, they work great. You can program them to be almost anything too. And since it's through Steam, it works that way.
I mean, honestly, I'm pretty excited. Again, like the specs and stuff, I love hearing you guys talk about and take them apart and do all the hard, the smart research. I think I'm pretty excited though, because it's like, I think this is a good introduction to people who might not have the money for a PC. This could be a way for them to get introduced. And even if handheld isn't the optimized way to use the system, they could still plug it up to a screen, correct?
Yes.
So technically that's still even a cheaper introduction to Steam gaming. I'd say PC gaming, but in reality, when I think of PC gaming, I'm really still thinking a lot about, keyboard and mouse, and with controller integration per whatever game you're playing, if controller is optimized.
Because if you go to like a Best Buy, for example, you walk in, they have those pre-built computers sitting around, and those are like $800, $900.
And the parts inside aren't even gonna be like honestly what you should be looking at that time.
I almost wonder if they set one of these up with like a display around that area in the computer section of something like a Best Buy. If they would just get people who are just walking in looking for like little PCs, if they would be interested in just picking one of those up instead with a dock, if they're trying to get into PC gaming, if it can maybe save them a headache or two from like, oh, the fan in like or just issues with Windows in general, or trying to figure out the game PC. This is going to load up SteamOS. It's supposed to look more like a console almost when you load it up, and
probably big
if
picture
it can
style or something. Yeah,
streamline the experience of turning it on, buying a PC game, and then just playing it. That honestly, people might pick it up, like you're saying, Click, as just like an entry point into PC gaming. I almost think that that's something that Valve's trying to do here, is like just get them to Steam immediately.
You'll have access to your friends list, so you'll have voice on your handheld. That'll be nice. It'll be good.
I think it's cool to think about. A lot of people are also talking about competition between Switch and this. Again, the appearance to me is the only direct comparison you can make, where it's like, it looks similar. But the big thing is, like, obviously the Switch is going to have its exclusives. But if you don't like the ports that are brought over to the Switch, and you're interested in having those same games brought over, like, this is, perhaps this is good for you. I have all my games on my PC and I love playing at dock, but there's something really cool at the fact where it's like, oh, I could literally, if I wanted to, replay through Mass Effect 2 now in bed, or like, on an airplane or something, and now I can take it with me, or I can put it up on a TV, wherever my next destination is. Like, I think it's cool now that I can also like play Zelda, but then I could also have
absolutely
literally anything else. If anything, it just adds on to the armada of games that you can take with you, which is exciting because it's not mobile gaming like with your mobile device, even though everybody has one. It's something, just as long as it runs well and it performs well. Obviously, we'll see when we get there, but
we'll see when it comes out. How it all does. But I'm excited for the Steam Deck. I think it's gonna be pretty cool when it drops. A lot of stuff's gonna come out from this system. Specifically, we'll see how the market reacts to it overall. Like, if they start reporting that they're selling millions and millions of these things, that would be a pretty interesting thing to see for the PC gaming side of things, because other companies probably start possible.
Look at the rollout of this actual device. You can only buy.
The big thing is there's no storefront. Yeah, there's no storefront presence.
No storefront.
I'm not going to be able to walk into a store and pick this up. So even it appears that even Valve is aware we're releasing somewhat of a niche product. We know the target audience that we are looking to. Will it sell, probably a couple million units over a period of time? Yes. But the fact that they're taking reservations this way, it means they're not really certain what their end goal is. They're not even certain of what production yields are going to be. And that's why you're taking pre-orders now to Q3 2022.
Yeah, it's in the Q3 now.
We're going to get these out as we can, but this is going to be a very slow rollout. This is not going to be
they took a pre-order and
product.
Are they already at Q3?
Yep. Yeah. Well, Steam crashed, dude. When they opened pre-orders, Steam exploded.
I don't know if it's true. I saw someone in the chat earlier say that they've had like to sort of about why this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. That they said that they've had 100,000, like 110,000 pre-orders. But if they have 110,000 pre-orders and you're not getting
to fill that,
you're not getting those through Q3. Jesus Christ!
I mean, what are their yields? 10,000 a month?
Like, damn, dude.
Roughly. I mean, then that means they're definitely looking at this as maybe like a couple million seller life.
Yeah. Well, they're also not making. I don't think they're making any money on it.
No, I think Newell even said he's not really with the pricing. They weren't sure where to come in at because they don't know the type of profit margins they're going to get on this. This is just to get Steam in your hands.
Yeah,
and hopefully that you invest in the Steam ecosystem and you're going to buy games on Steam where they make their 30% and that you stay there. But if it becomes that emulation machine, they don't care. You're buying the hardware, but if they're not going to make any money back from software sales, that's really not that market that they want to go in.
Were you trying to say something, OJ?
Yeah, I don't know if this is something that like entry level for people just say, I don't know anything about PC gaming and just hop right into this. I get the price is for that, but it seems to be more like if you're already heavily invested in PC gaming.
I would say for both.
You get. I mean, I don't know who's gonna walk in and say, oh wow, Steam. I don't have any games on Steam, but I want to buy this thing and get into it. I mean, I think this is really only for people, like not only, but majority it's going to be dudes that have just this massive library. And now I can, like you said, Click, I can take it anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know for people that are just starting out, just because it just seems like it's a little bit too complex for them.
I don't mean people who like don't know a lot unless they're genuinely being sold on it. I mean people who have been wanting a PC for a while.
All
or
I know
maybe
is
who have a PC, but like they want to upgrade, but they don't have the money.
I was
you know
say,
what I mean?
Back in the day, Evan knows the way we'd sell a PC. is just by putting lighting in it.
Yep.
That's literally how it works. People don't realize
A
that
case
there
with
is
sharp edges
online
and
right
red
now,
lights.
I think a lot of people believe that we are like that we account for much more of the market than we really do, because people would come in and they'd look at one PC and they'd look at the other, and this one
It's pretty
way better than that one, but that one has red lighting in it, so I'll take it. Bring me up.
I've seen
like,
some people
really?
that are
That's it?
super
That's all it
broke,
took?
that are super, and they will save to get into like actual like customize their PC, save up and put together the parts. I think that's still where it's gonna be at when people want to start. They'll research people. You know, they'll look up how to do it, and that's what people have been doing for a very long time to get in. It's like, hey, let me just look it up, and now it's even easier than ever. PC gaming is even easier than ever. You know what? I don't even have to do anything to build my rig. You guys told me what to get, and everything runs great these days.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even super expensive. It wasn't even like super expensive. So I mean, like, PC gaming is easier and easier. There's still a little bit of a barrier, which this helps break down. But PC gaming, there's pre-builts that are good prices that, you know, you got to save a little bit. But you don't got to spend $3,000 on a PC no more. I mean, like, does it run Crysis? You know, like, nah, you don't got to worry about it. Now you can spend $1,000 or something and you'll be good. And you can pay in payments. There's all sorts of payment options and plans for people. I mean, it's much better now than it was, you know, back then for, you know, people to get in.
I mean, and that's the thing with this product. It does feel it's the people who pay attention to Steam and Valve. They were the ones who got really excited about the introduction of this product. The mass consumer doesn't even know it exists. The enthusiast has some awareness of it. But the main Nintendo fan or the Microsoft fan or the Sony fan, they may have heard of it in passing, but they're going to view it as, oh, it's just another PC thing. I'm a console gamer. This isn't going to lure them to it. You will have the overlap just from the general gamer who does PC and consoles. And Valve's current marketing, just by limiting sales to their website, you know, basically negates that possibility of a person just saying, I want an entry-level PC, going there and waiting a year and a half to get it.
They'd have to get it in stores.
Yeah, and that may not happen. I mean, based on this type of rollout,
for a while,
2024.
They might be launching the next one in stores if this one does well. Is kind of where we are with it.
So that's where it's a very engaging piece of hardware. It's more fascinating to see where we actually have technology for the portable gaming realm to produce these types of results than probably the product itself.
Good time to launch it though, with how expensive video cards are.
Yes,
this thing looks cheap in this market right now. Yeah. So
yep.
Evan, we got Discord question over there before I go to some of these super chats.
We do actually have a person looking to build PCs, trying to figure out how he can future-proof it for things that would be around the range of Xbox Series X games, and he's wondering what specs we recommend, or whether he should maybe even think about buying the Steam Deck. It was on our Discord. I did start linking him things like iBuyPower and ZXT and all the pre-build companies, because at this point with hardware,
that's where we are right now. Pre-builds have access to those cards that we don't, so like you'll end up basically saving money just getting a pre-build done, which is it's weird to think now with where we were 10 years ago, where we would just be like, I'm not getting a pre-build, I'm going to build it myself and save all this money. Now it's like you actually save money getting a it's really weird nowadays.
That's why I said it's easier now because of just the market.
So the one I bought for the new apartment was $2,600, but it's got a 3080 in it, which if you look at eBay is like
Well, the other thing too is some of the places you get pre-builds from, they also have like tech support. Yeah. And I'll tell you, the place I got my PC from, like I had a guy who just like fixed my computer completely, my older one, not even the computer I bought from them. They fixed my other one. So I was like, dude, you guys are amazing. I'm so glad I decided to go ahead and do a pre-built. But yeah.
Okay, let's go over to the super chat questions here. Truly Epic says, yo, Spawn's beach photo got me feeling some kind of way, but on a real note, I look forward to the podcast every week and hope everyone is doing great. T-Joe says, Scarlet Nexus is a good game, but what happened with the sales? Where did the game go wrong? I'm a little concerned, to be honest.
Okay, the sales are, it did number 5 in the charts. So
it disappeared in Japan. So
it disappeared. It disappeared in Japan. It didn't chart on Xbox. UK, that didn't do that great there. Europe, Asia, doesn't seem like it's doing that great here. But here, if you combine all the platforms, it did number 5. But I'm still a little alarmed because it was underneath like MLB The Show. It was underneath Mario Golf. The Mario sports games don't sell as much as like the mainline Mario games. People think that they do, but they don't. It's not even close. So it's under that without even digital sales. So it's and that's PC, PS5. That's everything. All this.
I mean, let's be real. You know? They did miss a large chunk of the market with the Switch. Like for that kind of a game, they missed that market. So hey, 2 years from now, there you go. Take a shot.
There's a little bit of foreshadowing. I think people were a bit more excited for the Tales game. I think that's also you've got
Tales of
big
Arise
games, and you've got Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Rise came out. Monster Hunter Stories came out. You've got Neo 20. There's just a ton of just RPGs that are all like right now at this point. And Scarlet Nexus, it's great. It's cool and everything. But Tales of Arise just looks like the bigger, like, oh wow, this is going to be the Bandai Namco game to get. So I think there's just a bad timing. You know, it came out when it came out, but okay, man, like it's still all right. I mean, it should do good at the very end because it's on every platform. So, but like, yeah, right now it doesn't seem like it's too hot right now, but you know.
DPX says, what do you guys think about Nickelodeon Smash Bros. And who do you want in there? My two wishes are Avatar, Aang, and Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco be funny.
They need Rocco and Heifer. They need Rocco and Heifer, both of them.
Oh yeah,
Ed Big Head.
You know what's great about this game is there's so many possibilities. They could legitimately surprise people, and what they should do, and they've already announced a fun roster here, right, of characters. They should say nothing about the characters that are hidden in this game and just leave it up as like a secret when you get the game. And you legitimately go through and you get surprised by characters.
But some people might not buy the game though if they don't have if you don't already know. Or like
that, I get that, but I would leave some in there just to let people have word of mouth because there could be unlocks, and in the social media world we're in now, that might actually trend one of them on Twitter.
If they want,
you're right about that.
If they want, longevity, they should adapt, the Smash Bros approach. All right, we're gonna do update fighters.
Announce character and everyone gets mad about it.
Well, no, I think people would just be more high. I think the hype train is, another Nickelodeon character, great. I think what's going to be funny is it's like if it's some of the newer shows that maybe some of the older fans aren't, fans of, let's say like Loud House. I know a lot of older fans don't really know what that show is. So they're like, another Loud House character will become like the Fire Emblem character of Smash Bros.
Any sword characters, Nickelodeon?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, not that I can think of off the top of my head. That'd be more like Cartoon Network. But I think for me, like I said, I want Cat Dog in there. It's definitely some more 90s characters. I want some of them obscure early 2000s characters. So.
This is from Khalil says, if you could have any Weep game ported to Switch, what would it be? My pick is Muramasa Rebirth by Vanillaware. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll be very basic with it. Wii Sports. There you go.
Second wiki.
100 million unit seller right there.
Tetsunoko versus Capcom.
Oh god, I would love that.
That was good.
That'd be cool.
Can I technically say Metroid Prime Trilogy?
Yes.
Yeah, you can technically say. I thought you were going to say like Other M.
Oh well, Other M's my other one, but
too late.
Trilogy.
Too late. You said trilogy.
Well, if you said no.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Hey, Other M would be if you fix the controls up a bit. The story still might be iffy on some people, but the
Nate, did you review Other M back in the day? We might need this for later.
I like Other. By the way, I like
Other M. No, I didn't review Other M.
I hated the game. I gave it a 9.
That was one of the games Nintendo did with me and one of the reviewers. I'd get one game, he'd get the next, and I'd get the next. They kept swapping off until he didn't do 2 reviews in a row, and then I got everything.
This is from Spyro Jones saying, hoping for Carl Weezer.
Carl Weezer. Yeah, there's I do an impression of Carl Weezer in my videos. He goes,
let's hear it.
All right, so for context, he's in love with Jimmy Neutron's mom. He always goes, Jimmy's mom. That's what he always goes in the show. So there you go. That's for Spyro Jones.
Anna Studio says, the past 2 weeks have been really difficult for me after the Switch OLED announcement. I cried so much because of it, but your guys' videos helped me getting through. Keep up the great work.
We're happy to be here, but sweetheart, go outside and lay in some grass. Roll around.
Please, my boy.
Eat some of it.
Please do not be crying over. Like, go lift some weights, homie. Go get some exercise in. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but you shouldn't be crying over a video game system like that. Like, that's not.
This is from Zoob saying, I bought Scarlet Nexus out of pity. Such a good game, had such low sales. It has kept me very entertained. I love the characters and setting. Targeting is an issue, though. The powers are super cool. Redbeard Plays says, which Nintendo system is your favorite? Not best. They're their favorite. Mine is the GameCube. Also, Bucks and 6 RGT. RGT's not here.
Bucks and 6. That's kind of, I don't know how I feel about that.
Whoa, hold on a minute. You don't have a hat on.
I'm dying.
Holy shit, Sean has hair.
I am dying.
I feel like this is like the first time you see Toad without his hat on.
This is bald, right? Like Toad, this is the bald head, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Are you eating a spoon?
No, I'm waiting for my food to simmer.
Okay.
You're dying from heat and you're simmering food?
Well, it's hot. It just finished cooking.
So eat something cold.
Oh gosh, which Nintendo system is your favorite, not best favorite? This is from Redbeard Plays.
It's gotta be GameCube or Switch.
This is the GameCube.
Virtual Boy.
Solid choice.
N64.
Balding? Where am I balding?
Bron says
Nintendo and Switch.
In the back, wheel to the left.
Yeah. There you go, right there. Right there. You found it.
No, that's the that's like where the hair.
I'll zoom in so you
Alec.
can check. Oh, okay.
So Bron says Subway, eat fresh. Matt Jansen with a little sticker there. Christian says shout out to Spawn and RGT calling out scalpers. OJ, bots or not, scalpers put in the work are immoral for creating shortage and taking advantage of people.
What?
Okay. Says
Moral for
OJ.
taking advantage. Don't be a moron and buy freaking scalp products, and there wouldn't be a problem at all. I don't buy anything scalp.
People are buying them too. The Steam Deck is getting bought up right now.
Don't be an idiot and buy scalp products. Like it's not food or water or shelter.
Why would you buy a Steam Deck when you don't even know when it's coming out?
That's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to figure out, because even like in the item description, they're like, "I'll send it whenever I get it." It's like
I'm not gonna rage at it. If somebody wants to go and buy a scalp product, we should be raging at them.
Yeah.
You're an absolute moron.
If you're happy giving interest-free loans to these people, then go.
Because you only have to put
$5
$5 down on the Steam Deck. So if you take that and then you just go put it on eBay and you pay them for it, they're just gonna go buy pay the rest of the Steam Deck off and then just keep the money up front. It's not good. Fish fan says that.
I figured someone would ask. Escovitch steak with jerk broccoli, peppers, and coconut rice.
Why is the broccoli so mean?
I don't know. I don't really like the broccoli, but the peppers are really good.
Oh nice. Man, I thought you were having a Swanson dinner.
No, this is my freshly meals.
Ah, okay,
Yummy.
okay. Fish fan says, thanks for another awesome show, gang. RGT, any good Gma eats this week? Also, $5 of this is for RGT to buy spray and wash for that nasty, sweaty t-shirt for his video this week. Go check it out.
Dude, that was so bad. And like,
oh my god,
I looked at it and I was like, and that was when I had air conditioning. I was fine.
Yeah, it's only gonna get worse from here for you.
I know. Yeah, she actually came by today. She brought me a ham and cheese sandwich and sausage and peppers.
Okay. You know, I realized we actually have the power now to ask a live poll to the chat.
Oh yeah.
Is it active?
It's active. I see it right here. I just looked at the chat box. I'm like, oh, we can create a poll. We can ask anything we want.
Don't do it.
I don't know.
Is it going to be the N64 GameCube question? Is that what we're about to throw out there?
Oh, we can do that now.
We can finally get the answer.
The definitive answer
should be played.
GameCube or N64? Let's do it. Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
GameCube.
I gotta go vote.
Wait, which team am I on again?
N64.
Logging into my soccer accounts. Be right back.
There it is. It's up. Wait, where did it go?
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's cool.
How long is it up for?
I don't know. I can just click end poll whenever I want.
I don't do good on multiple choice.
It shows the live number too after you click into it. Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that.
It's okay. Twitch has only had that for a couple years.
Yeah, YouTube. We got to let YouTube catch up. It's fine.
Look, I like to talk about video games, not ASMR and
I saw that meme.
let me
put up
fart into the microphone.
Hold up, Sean. We don't need to get into that right now because we got some stuff.
I'll fart into a microphone for money. Shit.
I mean, we know people who do.
You'll sweat into one as well, won't you?
Do whatever. I don't care.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's kind of cool that it pops up You see the votes come in,
Who's
and it
winning?
changes. Oh, the GameCube by a mile, but like
Well,
it
it's because
changes.
the viewer base is ignorant.
It changes in real time. That's really cool. So like, if there's
You
ever
hear
a
that,
question,
audience? He's coming
Cool.
at you.
we can ask in real time. Maybe we'll ask about the Switch OLED when we're going over that. Are you buying a Switch OLED? Something like that.
I mean, people like variety.
That's
when it
kinda
comes to
cool.
the
9
lineup.
only.
So
That's a
I mean,
good
the
deal.
fact that they like variety and different types of games, like RPGs, for example, you know, like having those would be nice.
Ogre Battle
No.
64, Quest 64. Come on.
Those are ass.
Oh man.
I remember-
Battle's great, but Quest 64 is completely.
I remember when I
horrible.
rented Quest 64, and no disrespect to anyone with this name, my stepdad has this name, but when the lead character of an RPG's name is Brian, like fucking hell, you're completely took me out of this game. I'm playing like I got magic and shit, and my name is Brian.
There he is, the mystical wizard, Brian.
Come on, MVG.
No
you
offense
gotta
to Brian's
convince
in
this
chat.
audience of N64.
I mean,
It's all over. It's too late.
Brian. It's just like Brian.
And what is thou name, my lord? Brian.
This is Cristobal says, once I heard that Sylvie from Loki looks like Miss Click, I now can't unsee it. Oh, both are stunning women on two great shows, in my opinion. There you go. Mookie says, thoughts on the Dragon Quest series, guys. Also picked up God of War 1. Can't wait to try it. No, interesting. I wonder if are you going from
Wait, which God of War one?
well, I think it says God of War 1. So I'm wondering if they're going from like God of War 2018 to God of War 1 on the PS2.
I think he means the PS2. He has to mean the PS2.
Yeah,
man.
that's interesting. I'm curious what people would think of that, going from the PS4 God of War back to the
They'd
the
say it's
original.
dated and it sucks.
His click's still mad
Interesting.
about the Sylvie comment.
Yeah, Dragon Quest is awesome.
Dragon Quest is
my comment.
freaking amazing. So
Derek
good.
A says, after seeing John tweet a picture of himself in a swimsuit, can we expect a Spawncast swimsuit calendar? Only if Sean can hold up July.
I haven't eaten in
Yeah,
a week
okay.
because of it.
There you go. Wait, what? Don't do that. Don't do that. Hawk says, I think Nintendo will be working on a 4K system now, but not a Switch. But at the same time, they will keep the Switch going with new models. Another Nintendo console. I think Nintendo's hybrid to stay. I think they're rolling along with that. Xavier says, Steam Deck 512 gigabyte SSD reservation to buy locked in for Q2 2021. I use Steam a lot, so I'm really happy with a device where I don't have to wait for rebuy ports. That is kind of nice, I guess. If you've had your Steam library for a while and you just get this device, you sign in, it's there. I mean, that's
Yep,
pretty
that's
good.
why I
Yeah.
said it's going to serve the people that already. It's dope for everybody who's got Steam and invested. This is
Yeah.
fantastic for you guys. You know,
Yeah,
so-
yeah, yeah.
You know what I just realized?
Mm.
Portable nights.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say deodorant. God dang it.
well, I was
I
going to
use
say
dinner every day.
Sony's commitment to PC now, right? So there's going to be some really cool stuff that comes out that you're going to want to
Good
play
point,
on
too.
that Steam Deck. Yep.
Wow. Oh, yeah. That's
I like how we didn't
Hard
talk
on
about
that.
Dragon Quest whatsoever.
it's awesome. There's no more comments needed for that.
Yeah,
it's
it's
awesome.
great. It's fantastic.
D'Angelo says, playing some Skyward Sword HD and enjoying the change. Also, I've checked out the Neo World Ends With You demo. Anyone here, check it out. I know OJ was playing. I played it some. I'm just ready for the game to come out at this point. So I'm just ready.
It's really good. And once again, button controls come to the rescue. This is a game that played. You thought Skyward Sword controls weren't good. Woo!
Yeah,
Play this game on the Switch. Play
Bad.
play The World Ends With You. The World Ends With You. The final remix on the Switch, and you'll literally throw your Joy-Cons out the window if you haven't already done so. Those controls are terrible unless you do portable mode. So yeah, they fixed it. They fixed the controls, and the DS game, it works, but my hands are just too big for the DS controller. Even back when I played it back then, I'm old.
Just
And
get
my
the,
hands are
just
just
get
too
the
big,
XL, man.
Yeah, even for it just because you have to play with the D-pad and then you use the D-pad and you use the stops at the same time, and then like the puck goes or the little energy ball goes back and forth between the two screens. So it's just like it's fun, but then it kind of wears out its welcome pretty quickly for me at least. So this time they don't got any of that. It's just a cool action RPG now where you're controlling all three characters based on a button. The buttons that you lay them out to, and it's fantastic. I cannot wait to play more of it.
Okay, let's actually go from the super chats, come back to and Evan, we have Discord questions over there. Go ahead.
We got it. Well, I mean, we got a bunch. I'm just letting you know for timing.
Okay. We can go through a few of them now before we talk about the last topic, which is the Switch OLED cost difference.
Oh, okay. Do we think Microsoft will somehow make Deathloop a day one Game Pass for PC as well as everything else?
It might as well. Like it looks like after a year, it's going to be going to the Xbox. I bet you like the day that exclusivity ends, according to like they have like their trailer with the fine print. It's probably going to Game Pass. I think as soon as possible. So yeah, I would expect it there.
What's everyone's most anticipated upcoming game for this year?
Ooh.
Oh, SMT5 and Dread for me.
Oh, I want to say Metroid Dread because it's been so long
Yeah.
since we've had that 2D Metroid game. But I mean, I got to go with Halo Infinite. Like I have to go with Halo Infinite.
Dread for
I mean,
me.
Dread, but isn't Horizon supposed to come out this year?
We
No.
think. We
No.
think.
The
Quote,
game's
unquote,
not coming out.
Oh, no.
right
No,
What we
Nate
think
with
we
the
know?
laugh is the same laugh he did when people were like, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out this holiday, right?
Come on,
I
we're
know.
nearing August and they haven't given it a date. They're not going to give it a 2-month marketing cycle. That game's
So
coming out in
plus-
February 2022.
Plus, Netherlands, where Gorilla is, has just got back into lockdown. And things
True.
aren't good over there.
Oh,
Doesn't look good for Horizon this year.
yeah.
I can't even think of really what's coming out that I'm too excited for. Like the most, I don't know, just the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Honestly,
Okay.
I'll just give
Yeah,
it to them.
I'm sticking with Halo Infinite. Going Halo Infinite.
Real quick, Jordan, what'd you think
Yeah.
about those improvements with the that people were talking about with the
Good.
Diamond and Pearl?
I'm glad they're actually showing that they're taking time and working on them still. So anyone who because I mean, with our impressions with Sword and Shield when those came out, I think this just shows that they're still putting in time to make sure it can look as good as possible. But I don't know. I think I don't really care with this one. I think it already looked fine. It's more just so what they're going to show us with Arceus is the big draw. This is going to be fine whether it has a little bit more detail or cleaner graphics or not. So.
Yeah. We have another Discord question there, Evan.
Do you think the PlayStation 5 Slim will release before they let you use the M.2 storage bay?
No, I think the M.2
Yes.
slot's coming up here soon.
Do you
I
you
think it's
really
gonna. I think by August we'll be using it.
think so?
I hope so. They need to. That thing should have been available the first day, and there would be almost a year. I mean, the original. There was a report a while ago that they were going to have it out by the summertime, and well, August is coming up. So,
I mean, you technically have till September.
oh gosh, yeah, I guess. I figured they'd want it out sooner rather than later, but we'll see. We also need a list of which ones are supposed to work. There's a whole thing with this.
I think the poll ended.
I ended it because we ran
GameCube
through it.
won.
We're gonna have another one for the OLED anyway.
Recount.
You
Recount.
can't just
Well,
end the poll when the thing you want
Stop
to win
the
is a hell.
steal. Stop the steal.
It wasn't even close. Like the GameCube was running over it. I had to call the mercy. I had to call the mercy roll on that.
Ah.
What are the numbers?
It was like 68% GameCube. Yeah,
Says you.
I have over 1,000 votes. Evan, what's the other Discord question?
Do you guys think Capcom will address the DRM they stapled into Denuvo to fix RE8 on PC? And then
Yes,
pretend it
they,
never happened or
res-
something?
Oh
Apparently
well,
fixing it.
they responded. I don't think they'll pretend it didn't happen, but they responded. And it sounds like they're, I assume, going to remove it because what's the point anymore of it being there if it's already been cracked? Also, I think they've removed DRM before in the past after so many weeks. So it's been 2 months. It's time to remove it.
It's usually a few months. So when I made a video on it last week, and RE3 remake, it took about 6 months for it, and Resident Evil 2 remake took about 6 months. But this one, I mean, it's already been cracked. They're gonna patch it out.
Yeah.
So
And this one's ugly. Like the performance dip. Oh, it's bad.
it's horrible.
You want to go to another Discord question there, Evan?
Does anyone remember Game Vice suing Nintendo to try to cancel the Switch in the US? Do we think they might try that with the Steam handheld?
No,
because it's not going to be popular enough.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, it has to be popular. They wanted that name next to the headlines. I mean, it worked for them originally, and then everyone forgot about them. So there you go. Unfortunately, Game Vice didn't have a great product to push after the fact.
What if Nintendo catches when the Dolphin runs on this thing, Nate, and we start seeing 60 FPS Nintendo games running on there?
They can't do any more than what they could do already on PC, though.
It's true. What do they do with Yuzu if that pops up on it and starts playing Switch games before they even come out?
It's clean rooms, so technically they can't, but they can use Nintendo Ninja Tactics to to basically
they can find the
push
host.
people around. Yeah.
They can try to find the hosting, and they can do, their legal.
Everything keeps leaking.
tactics.
Skyward Sword leaked early. They were playing that like 2 days before or something.
People had that game. Like some stores were like just
selling they're just selling it.
too.
That's what always seems to happen. It's just someone sells it early and then a person dumps it online and there you go. But it happens every Nintendo release. It keeps happening. So what's gonna be really interesting is Pokemon, because the Pokemon company doesn't mess around. So
No, they don't.
that's gonna be one
that's where the Pokemon company has their own. They have their own methods to try to avoid
That's
that.
what we'll call it,
It's
methods.
going to happen no matter what, because they always ship just millions and millions of copies for launch. So it's inevitable that a certain shop is going to sell a copy early, an employee is going to take one, or whatever have you.
Yeah.
But what they typically do is, if you're not a major retailer, we're shipping this to you last minute, so you're getting it the day before. Or the day of release. Yep. And they even limit the amount of reviewers who gain access to early code for that reason, because several years ago, it was very consistent is that whenever they gave out review code in Europe, it always found itself onto these emulator sites within a day. And they eventually tracked it to a specific media outlet, and they said, we know it's you, and they were blacklisted and they were sued and they eventually got shut down. But the Pokemon company takes this very seriously, and they put up safeguards to try to prevent this.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with them.
Okay. We want to go to the Switch OLED to finish up here. We have some more Discord questions, a couple of super chats to come back to, but let's go through this pretty quickly, because this was funny. I got a report about the Switch OLED, how the difference in terms of Nintendo going from the regular Switch to the OLED was about a $10 cost, with the screen being $3 to $5 in terms of price increase, going from that LCD to the OLED, rigid OLED from Samsung. The memory going up to 64 gigabytes was like $3.50. Some other parts came out to $10 more, and Nintendo of course increased the price of the Switch OLED $50, which is it's a different strategy than I think we've ever seen midway through a generation, especially for, I guess, a system you would count as like your flagship console device and all of this. Usually we see some pretty drastic changes, like last gen where the PS4 Pro came out and the Series X came out. Nintendo did the OLED screen and they marked it up $50. They probably could have left it at 300 and still made some profit on it, but I think Nintendo's looking at the demand and they're like, let's see how 350 does.
It's, as I put on Twitter, this is the goal of every revision, is to increase the profit margin, and that's what the OLED model is going to do. When the Switch came out in 2017, that was the only means of revenue from the Switch line in terms of hardware for Nintendo. So they made X amount from that hardware. They then introduced the Switch Lite in 2019. That lowered that profit margin because you came in with a lower introductory price. Now you're bringing back the OLED, and it's at a higher price. So you're bringing some equilibrium to that revenue margin. And that's exactly what you want with these revision hardware. You want to maximize the amount of revenue you make on this hardware. So this move really isn't all that surprising. And it's also not the first time that we've seen Nintendo do this. When they introduced the 3DS XL, it came in at a higher price than what the 3DS was selling for at the time. It wasn't $250 like the 3DS came in at launch, but the 3DS, I believe, was selling at $179 at the time.
170, I think.
Yeah, so 170. Then it comes in the XL at $200. So this isn't all that strange for Nintendo to do, and from a business sense, it makes sense. Because once that Switch Lite did bring down that profit margin, you want to get it back up to where it was in 2017, or maybe even higher. So by pricing the OLED $50 higher, and now that we know it's roughly a $10 more cost in bills of material, they're just bringing back that original profit margin, if not higher than it was in 2017, and over this expanded amount of years. That's exactly what you want to do as a business. You want to capitalize the amount of revenue you can bring in on this product. And if Nintendo believes they can price this at $350 and find success at that price point, by all means, as a business, that's what you're going to do. But I also think there was a secondary alternative not alternative. I think there was a secondary means of why they priced it at $350. And I think it is when you come out with the next revision, the Pro with DLSS and all those features, they want to experiment with the idea of pricing it at $399. They want to get consumers comfortable with the idea of a premium price for a premium product.
Yeah, that's my question with this though. We've gone up to $350 now with the Switch. Is this big time Pro, for example, if they decide to do a revision that has an actual power bump, $50? Is that like the jump? Because they had to move they moved this $10 in terms of cost for that OLED. I mean, I feel like a new chip and all this stuff, for example, would move it up even further. I mean, would this be a $450 system, or would they drop the price of this one to $3 and then have one at $4?
If the OLED model is to be positioned to phase out the OG Switch and the V2 red box,
yes,
then I could see them doing $399, drop this one to $299 after maybe a period of 18 months. And then that's how you have it. You have the $199 introduction, $299 mid-tier, or what is called general flagship, and then high-end Pro, $399. Maybe they could even try it $350. You know, they have a range of options at that point, and we're still talking a year or so into the future. But I could definitely see them price it in that type of way of $100 intervals across 3 installments to the Switch family.
Switch Lite, regular Switch, new Nintendo Switch, whatever they call it. Okay.
Whatever they decide to brand it as.
Yeah.
But you could also see them eventually phase out the current Switch Lite and have an OLED screen equipped in that as well. Because
that makes sense.
One of the reasons that they went OLED with this particular model is because the cost of the OLED is cheaper than what the LCD screens were costing them from is it Samsung?
Their screen now, it was like it was what's the company? I know they had like Innolux screens.
Yeah,
was printing them back. Sharp was doing. Yeah, I think they've changed LCD because some LCDs look warmer than others. So they've had a couple companies that have provided screens to them.
Yes, and I believe the OLED is more affordable than what the LCD were running them. So it makes sense that they'll eventually phase out the lights that we have on market and replace those screens with the OLED too.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense as they build up to even the next gen, taking the OLED with them. Obviously, it's significantly better than what we have the LCDs. And hey, people will find that out when the system drops and people start posting up images of it and talking about the screen clarity.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about with $350. I mean, Walmart knocked $50 off the price.
Yeah, so this is weird. So. What's going on here? Because like
only
Walmart,
for the neon one. It was only for the neon one.
That was weird.
I pre-ordered that one and I never canceled it.
Yeah, and I had Metroid Dread Special Edition with Walmart, and they knocked $30 some odd off that.
They have another weird Metroid Dread Special Edition listing on Walmart that's $38.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on at Walmart. I'm a little concerned for my Metroid Dread Special Edition, by the way, being at Walmart, because maybe they're going to send me just a regular Metroid Dread now.
Some speculation is that the Metroid Dreads that they dropped to the original price is the ones that they oversold, and they're just going to send you a standard copy.
Don't do this to me, Walmart.
That'd be a really surprise.
Prime Federation Force on the 3DS.
No.
That's not a bad game.
So the other part of the report is that Sony is paying attention. I assume Microsoft too, but paying attention to this interesting move by Nintendo when it's pretty much figured out that we'll say minimal changes to the overall system itself and the hardware, and moving at $50. I mean, could we see Sony, if this works, like let's say the Switch OLED just sells out completely? People are buying it, it seems, online. I saw that Walmart link that had them in stock is now sold out from what I'm seeing here. So people are picking them up. I mean, why wouldn't Sony do something similar with the PS5 and mark it up? I mean, they could go do storage space even if they want to and go up to like 600. Let's be real. The PS5 could have been 600 when it came out. Like, does anyone think it couldn't have been 600?
They probably could have got away with it with the way demand is right now. I mean, I think it would have met a lot of criticism if they really did walk out there at a state of play or whatever presentation and say
Twitter
$599 again, because we all remember the Kaz Hirai $599.
If I was them, I would just meme that whole press conference announcing it. But like, are we talking Twitter criticism? Because that's basically like,
I think you would have seen criticism.
Thanks for selling it out for us.
I think you would have seen criticism from media outlets as well, just because it's a high price. But it also would have came down to what were they pricing the digital edition at? Are we still talking a $399 price tag for the digital edition, or are we going to increase that $100 as well?
That's $499.
Where's Microsoft pricing the Xbox?
I don't know, same price. Well, no, they probably follow, because it's like, why not? I have a feeling either one of them figured out the pricing on it, and they were like, okay, they're going to go 5, we'll go 5. That's fine. We'll have our Series S down here at 3, maybe 4 even. I mean, at that point, they would have all made money on their consoles at launch.
I think you still would have seen some criticism if they came up with that pricing structure, but they still would have sold out. The consumers would have been there at day one.
Oh,
they
yeah.
would have continued to be there. So as a business,
sold out at launch.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, they have to be looking at this OLED. This OLED selling out at 350 without any noticeable change in terms of hardware, like in the power chip performance, any of that. I feel like if I'm Sony, I'm kicking myself for not launching that thing at 600. And I feel like they're gonna remember this.
Just it's 600 with like no games.
I feel like they're gonna remember this. Hey,
well, if you're Sony and you want to do a quick pivot this year for the holiday season, you just throw in a second controller and you charge $600, $650. They can make a holiday.
GameStop's doing it now and it's working.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're Sony and you want to make that official holiday bundle that you know is going to sell out, you're going to throw in something that to them is costing pennies, that they're going to have a high profit return margin on. Do you attempt that?
Do they try a 2 terabyte model for 600? Do they start moving the storage space up? I mean,
that almost justifies the higher price a little too well.
They'd look into the cost. Maybe it's 1.5. It's some weird number. It's like 1,700 gigabytes. Some weird thing that they put on the cover. But basically, they just bump the storage up and they raise the price. Maybe they phase this one out, replace it with a 1 terabyte PS5, and it's $550 from now on.
Well, there was that rumor several months ago that Sony was going to do
redesign.
the quiet redesign, just changing some of the internal parts for quicker, manufacturing purposes. But I guess that wouldn't be enough for them to say, no, it's $600.
I don't know. I feel like they're going to look at this and be like, man, we should have raised more. How do we get the price of it? Because Nintendo's probably even thinking they should have charged more for the Switch when it first came out, and they figured it out here with the OLED. So I feel like Sony's going to be like, all right, how do we get this thing to $550 now? What do we have to do?
I would create some type of bundle where it's either
what they need to do.
Here's PlayStation Plus.
Need to get some goddamn games out.
Hold on. Maybe we'll get Silent Hill announced. That'll happen. They'll get that. They'll get locked.
Games would be good. I mean, Ratchet just got #1 on the.
I don't see anyone talk about Ratchet anymore.
Yeah,
I don't see anyone talk about it anymore.
It sold really well,
It did sell well. Yeah,
it sold extremely well, and people play a lot of third-party stuff on PlayStation.
It is the default system.
Did it top the charts?
Yeah, it got #1 in the US MPD charts. Yes. Well,
I mean, isn't like also one of the only games selling on the PS5?
Exclusive? Yeah. I mean, Returnal's like God.
Yeah,
so.
Returnal kind of fell off
already.
Yeah. Demon Souls and all that. None of those games are from none of the launch games are.
But Final Fantasy VII saw a huge resurgence.
Yes.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. I played it and finished it last year. Give me some games. Give me some
It was for
games,
people
Sony.
who want to buy intermission MVG.
Ooh.
Hey, Microsoft's got you covered. All right, they're bringing Deathloop.
When you go out there
Finally.
in a month and you buy Ghost of Tsushima, you can remember this conversation and say,
I am gonna buy a Ghost. I'm looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima. Bring that.
I'm looking forward to replaying that again.
I'm not gonna replay it. My save doesn't come over. I'm just gonna play the new
Listen,
stuff.
it's got monkeys.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't give a damn about monkeys. If I want to play games with monkeys, I'd boot up Donkey Kong
Monkey
Country
Ball.
2 on my Switch.
Super Monkey Ball's coming.
Yeah,
Monkey
and Super
Ball.
Monkey Ball, Banana Mania,
There we go.
whatever the hell it's called.
The new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need.
It could be a Dreamcast, a Game Gear.
We do kind of need some
Saturn.
PS5 stuff to happen here soon. So I don't know. I'm hoping they do have a state of play in August because it has been kind of quiet on the PlayStation front
We
recently.
just had a state of play.
Okay, a good
Iron
state
Man
of play.
VR2.
We need a state of play.
rest
Someone's
my
been
case.
silent.
A state of play
was
that-
like
that-
last week.
A state of play that gives us some stuff for this holiday outside of Kena, and Deathloop.
I'm questioning MVG. Are you upset with the exclusives or just like with the third parties as well?
No, I'm not upset. I want to be clear on that. But the guys were saying, well, how does Sony raise the price of their system? And between now and the end of the year, what are they going to deliver? What's coming out for the PS5? We're getting Ghost, right? We're getting
Death
Death
Stranding.
Ghost is
we're
my favorite
getting-
game from
Last year.
2020.
Yeah.
It's my favorite PS4 game. Come on.
What else are we getting?
Maybe Horizon.
Maybe Horizon. Maybe.
Oh, that's my favorite
maybe.
PS4 game.
Fiscal year, you'll get Horizon. But the problem, Horizon is still a cross-gen game.
Yes.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
the majority of buyers, I can't even say the majority of buyers, but there'll be a large percentage of interest that are going to be PlayStation 5 install-based purchases for Horizon, just like we saw with Miles Morales.
Yeah.
But it still has that idea that if you want to make that argument of, well, it's a cross-gen game, it's not the PS5 exclusive.
Time
so
to
what
announce
Sony
Spider-Man 2.
have-
Honestly.
It's time. It's time
Well,
to announce
then
Spider-Man 2,
I mean-
a new Infamous, and Silent
Well-
Hills. We're good.
Wasn't the
All the
motion
above.
capture guy for Miles Morales seen doing motion capturing for something?
Oh, was he?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man 2 has been in the works since before the Miles Morales. Well, at the same time as the Miles Morales game, it's just a lot bigger of a game than that game was, and it's probably, I would say, the earliest we'll see that's next year.
Yeah, probably. I'm just trying to help them out. You know what? They got GTA 5 coming. It's all
Yeah.
good.
It just
Let's
feels
go
weird
to
to
it.
me that there's like no surprise game this holiday from Sony or like from Microsoft. I mean, like Halo.
Still a little
Huh.
time though.
Yeah, I
There
mean,
is, but it's like, what we already know how bad these companies were hurt throughout
Yeah.
last year and how all these games had to be spread out. Obviously, they'd want Horizon and God of War out and all
Yes.
these other, but it's like, I don't think there's a surprise game because it's like if all the other ones have been pushed, there's nothing else they've been hiding from us.
Yeah, there won't be any surprise. Oh my God, I can't believe this is coming out this year because the impacts of COVID are still being felt. There were projects that
What
were
if?
slated for, late 2021 that have been pushed to late 2022. There were titles that were planned for 2022 that have now slipped to 2024.
Last of Us
The-
2 director's cut.
Oh God. But like the impacts of COVID will be felt for years to come. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, 2020, 2020 is over. 2021 is going to be a lot better for games. No, we are just now really seeing the ripple effect of what COVID did to this industry. We have to remember the industry was on pause for 6 to 8 months, and you don't make up that time in just another 6 to 8 months. That is a year and a half, maybe 2 years loss of development time, and it's going to take a long time for us to really catch up. And you launch these systems, and I mean, we're not used to the idea of a new generation starting and not having these exciting brand new next gen exclusive releases. They're day and date. We're gonna have to wait 18 months, maybe 24 months to really see the beginning portion of this generation take hold.
Yeah.
And it's foreign territory, not only for the consumer, but also for the console manufacturers and for the developers as well.
Yeah, even on like Xbox side, we're talking about Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon, but those are on the Xbox One as well. So
Yes,
it's a lot of cross-gen stuff.
We can look into 2022 and all of the known announced Sony products up to this point remain
all
cross-gen. Gran Turismo 7, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West. And that was something that at this time last year, no one was really operating under that idea because Sony was not forthcoming with how they were approaching cross-generation releases. Meanwhile, Microsoft came right out and said, these games are going to be cross-gen for the next year or two. So you already had that expectation that Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon, and some of more recent releases coming from Microsoft would also be on that Xbox One. Sony painted that picture that we were supposed to be getting PlayStation 5 exclusives in the year of 2021. And unfortunately, it's just now becoming that truth that all the projects that they had announced that got people excited for the PlayStation 5 will also be playable on your PlayStation 4, which is good business. It's great for the consumers who can't find a PlayStation 5. You can still play these games if you have a PlayStation 4, which is awesome for you. It's just at that moment where you want something to be excited for on your PlayStation 5, you're still waiting for that. Whoa, this is that real SSD taking advantage experience that we were promised 16 months ago.
Astro's Playroom.
I mean,
Yes.
and you're all wrong because according to Xbox Lost PlayStation 1, who I'm sure we all know who that is, in all caps, Sony released more games than either Nintendo or Xbox this year. Nice lie at Direct Feed Games, at Spawnwave, at Modern Vintage Gamer. Nice lie.
So Sony up to this point has released Destruction All-Stars, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, and what are we forgetting? I know I'm forgetting one.
Demon Souls, does that count?
Oh, that was last
That was
year.
last year. So it doesn't even count.
So we're at MLB The Show. We'll count that. That is a Sony developed game. So we're at 4.
But Xbox got that.
I mean, no one has said Microsoft has released more games this year. So that's a moot point. That was actually irrelevant to bring up. And I believe Nintendo has released Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury in January. They published Bravely Default 2 in February. March had what? I'm sure it had something.
Sean, what did March have?
We've had Game Builder Garage. We've had the Skyward Sword.
Mario
we
Golf.
had
Mario
Golf.
Pokemon Snap.
We had Pokemon Snap.
That
What else
Miitomo
we
game.
The Miitomo game. Yeah.
So sorry, Xbox. I talk out of my ass.
Monster
and I
Hunter.
didn't put in this
At least.
comments, but you're wrong. Nintendo's released more games than Sony this year.
Monster Hunter. Don't forget add
Well,
that.
I mean, if you look at this,
That's
this
Snap
guy's
Hunter.
obviously he's exuding anti-girlfriend energy, but like this,
Girlfriend energy.
the last half of
Respectful to
the
Jim Ryan.
the last half of the year, like Nintendo obviously has, more games, but Nintendo's a more mature platform at this point, and they focus on first party a lot more. So it's not really the comparison obviously is not going to be like this. Not, it's like apples and oranges when you talk about that. When it comes to Xbox, yeah, obviously Xbox, they're doing the backwards compatibility and they're doing the, Game Pass stuff. So it's obviously different. So, I mean, all the systems
also
are
knew.
Everybody's selling well. Everyone's doing well. Everyone's playing games. So, I mean, like, who gives a shit?
Xbox was the most best-selling hardware revenue-wise in the month of June.
Yeah. So
That was weird.
Which is great for the that platform and that ecosystem. But we knew Microsoft's approach to 2021. We knew they didn't have any big releases until Flight Simulator coming out in July, and then eventually Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite. It's not like
how many days till
Microsoft.
that?
What is it next week for the 21st is Flight Simulator?
Nice.
So
It's
it
gotta
wasn't.
be interesting
It's
to
not
see
like
how
we
it
were
plays out.
operating on this idea that Microsoft was going to have this huge year and they didn't deliver. We knew exactly how they were approaching 2021, and we knew we just had to wait for them to actually get to the games, and they're about to get to the games starting next week.
Evan, you have some Discord questions we can go through here pretty quickly as we finish up with the rest of these super chats.
Do you think using the new Switch dock will have better performance with the wired internet connection versus the old dock with the adapter?
I don't know if it's gonna be enough to really. I don't think it's make a massive difference. I mean, people, I'm sure, will run tests and all this, but
Maybe.
I don't think it'll be worse.
I don't think I've had issues. Yeah, I don't think I've had issues with my adapter.
Yeah.
Do you think Nintendo will provide more OLED burn-in precautions for the new model? It exists now in dock mode. But I
OLED
don't know
burn's
how.
gonna be.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting to see how that goes down. I think the OLED technology's gotten much more advanced since the Vita. So I don't think we're gonna have like widespread OLED. My Vita has like the splotchy thing where it's like if it's on kind of, you can see like ink splotches almost on it for that OLED. So that was an OLED from 2011 technically. So
I am curious about that, like a game like Game Builder Garage, where it's a pretty static, it's a static type screen, and you play that a lot. Like, will that actually start burning in? It'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Any insight?
Well, will the battery life last long enough for there to be burn-in?
Well, that's a good point. I mean,
Maybe.
it's not going to be any different battery-wise than the Redbox Switch, so probably not. I mean, but
you
I
just
guess
plug it in and leave it like a jerk just on that screen and see what happens. Someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna test it to see how long it takes. And what do you do?
I figured if you would.
You'll have reports that they had burn-in day one from someone who said, "I left the title screen of Breath of the Wild running for 9 straight hours, and I plugged it in, and I forgot about it for a week. It burst into flames, and a demon came out and said, 'You fail at everything you do, and I can't believe Nintendo sold me this, and they won't even guarantee their warranty.'"
Wasn't it a PS4 that someone said caught on fire and they just lit it with a light?
And do you remember the Xbox Series X? Though, like the smoke was bellowing out from the top of it.
Vaping through it.
And they had to say, "Please don't vape into your system."
And what was the thing with the PS4 where it did, like, the battery blew up, but then you found out they actually like cut the battery or something inside of it? Like they did some bullshit, like they they took like a screwdriver through the hard drive or something, so it exploded.
Is it worth the 5 minutes of Twitter fame to destroy something you spent like $500 on?
For a lot of people, yes.
Yes.
Out.
That's all they have in life.
Okay, Evan. What do we got?
Any insight into the recent rise of video game related skateboard merch?
Oh yeah, Konami's
Maybe.
doing that.
Apparently, there's been examples of Silent Hill and Shantae editions of things.
Silent Hill did do a
There was a
skateboard.
Silent Hill skateboard.
How did Deadly Premonition 2 not do a skateboard?
That game's
Wasn't that a whole
weird.
thing with a skateboard? Like, didn't they
That
skateboard
game
around?
sucks. That's why it sucks.
Okay, next
I'm
one.
so sad about that game.
You were.
maybe.
I mean, God, Dreamcast guy's not here, and I think he's the only one that plays the new Final Fantasy or the Final
Oh.
Fantasy Online game. Anyone else here play it?
14. I looked at it and I'm scared to get into it because that thing looks like it's gonna wrap up like
You'd
your
get
life up in it.
addicted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm
My buddies were looking
appreciate
into it.
but from far away.
My buddies were looking into it, and apparently there's only one server we could join right now if we played it. Like out of all the servers, they're
it's
all
very
full.
fun. Like they actually sold out of the digital copies of that game.
Yeah, they
Because
ran out of digital
Dang.
codes.
They couldn't keep giving them out because they didn't have anywhere to put people if they downloaded it and
Jeez.
started playing. The servers were
That's
full.
crazy. Wow.
So yeah.
Remember when the game first actually
It was
released?
terrible. They had
it
to
was bomb.
Yeah, it
Then
was
they
terrible.
completely revitalized it with the huge expansion. They
Yep.
changed the branding for
Realm
it. and
Reborn.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
the- I want that
the
old
turnaround
version.
of that product.
They got a new producer for that game too. That they got rid of the other guy, then got the new producer for the game as well. I remember covering all that back in the day about how bad it was at launch.
We'll see how Final Fantasy 16 turns out.
It should be good. It should be good. I don't think it's going to
Should
be
be.
anything like crazy, but I think he's going to make sure that it's just a solid,
Just make a good Final Fantasy
Yeah,
game,
just
yeah.
very good. Nothing that's going to be like, oh my god, like blow your mind at certain parts, but it's just going to be all around solid. I think that's
After
what.
Final Fantasy 15, if it's solid, they might as well
Yeah.
blow in our minds. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Final Fantasy 15 has some parts that are like, oh my god, but it's so imbalanced. You know, I think this one's going to be way more even and just good. It's just going to be like way more even and good throughout the whole experience.
Can't be any
Just
worse
'cause
than
of-
Strangers in Paradise.
There you go.
We have to kill chaos. I'm
Yes.
here to kill chaos.
Got another one, Evan.
That's it. Everything
Yeah.
else is just suggestions on the look
Cool.
into.
Chaos?
I'll go through the rest of these super chats here. Nightlight Beats says, not video game related, but honest thoughts on Loki and what would you want in season 2?
Quick.
He's a good wrestler.
Huh? Why? Oh, you gotta.
Well, I like
Yeah.
Loki. Loki was very good. It was quick. There was not it wasn't drawn out. We were start to finish. You could do that in like a day and really enjoy it. And I like to look at Loki's character and how it changed throughout the season to be more of a sympathetic and I guess more protagonist as he went through.
I have never. Sorry, go ahead, click.
No, you're more connoisseur. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've never been more excited for the future of the MCU stuff.
Yes. Yep.
The implications of
I
what
am not
this show
ruining
has
anything.
caused.
I'm not spoiling anything, but yes,
This show, if these shows didn't seem important to you, they're very important for what's
Yes.
going to happen for the next several movies. Maybe not Shang-Chi or the Eternals, but Spider-Man, Doctor Strange.
Yep.
You should watch it if you're into it.
I agree. Really good. Pretty excited, but I just want them to work on their combat scenes between Mandalorian season 2 and Loki. I
Click,
didn't
that's
like
you.
their fight.
That's- okay.
Listen, I didn't like the fight choreography. I'm sorry. It
You
just
tell 'em.
wasn't landing right for me. Like I'm just saying, like there were a couple of Marvel shows on Netflix. I feel like the fights were way better, but
Hey,
I
Brandon
just work on 'em.
Silvestri.
Producers, yeah.
Brandon Silvestri can only do so much as a fighter.
listen, just fix it a little bit. That's all.
Game Tour says, we Skyward Sword lovers have finally been vindicated. Hallelujah. There you go. Luxian says, Groot's going to make me act up. Trom Vita says, when's the Jacked Wave Fitness channel? I don't know about that one. Marky
November.
says, RGT Rich from Review Tech told me to tell you that you have a nice booty. Is he your
Thank
daddy
you.
or something?
What?
No, we're
Next
we're
is-
actually very similar in age. I think he just turned 40 and I'm 36. So
There you go.
Oh,
Nexus says, I've heard people switch pro speculation to next year, but wouldn't 2023 make more sense? Their new hardware releases have been every 2 years. If it's 2023, they might as well wait till next gen.
exactly.
I'm gonna
I mean-
pull my hair out if we keep talking about the Switch Pro. I'm gonna go bald and then wear a hat every day of my life.
Do it.
You have a hat on right now.
Are you
Yeah,
already
but
bald?
there's actually gonna be no hair.
We don't know that's real.
You could
Could
just
be a wig
attach it
under
to the
there.
bottom of the hat.
Hey, look, Click. Jada looks great bald, you know?
Mhm.
So, I mean. like-
Remember G.I. Jane, Demi Moore?
Yeah, she shaved her head.
She did.
I
Didn't
thought
she
it
do
was-
striptease right before that? That was a weird boner going from striptease to G.I. Jane.
What, you just
Go on.
maintained it the whole way there? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. Striptease is
Hey,
a classic.
He's like,
Hey,
I'm just
at
gonna
ease,
go ahead
soldier, at ease, you know?
Okay.
Go ahead and wait and watch.
Well-
Whoa, this is changing. It's evolving now, you know? Like, this is great.
This is Stead says, Nintendo holding resolution, FPS boost, quality of life features, and Skyward Sword behind a $10 increase on a 10-year-old $50 Wii game when PlayStation gave us Shadow Colossus PS2 remake on PS4 for $40. Keep same energy. I mean,
Why don't
Ghost
you
is
keep the same
$10
energy
more.
and go and buy? Why don't you go keep the same energy and buy the game? That's what the people, all the places, they should have went and bought instead of Japan studio closing down. So
Ooh.
we can say whatever
That's
we
true.
want, but
That's a good point. A lot of no one
Japan's
really
didn't
bought
even
the
support it.
Shadow
So
Colossus.
keep your same energy while it's shut down. Hell, go tell Jim Ryan to keep the same energy and keep those studios open.
Kitsune says, here in Europe, the OLED is only €20 more, so I am buying it. I need a new Switch. My launch day Switch needs rest. I can use the launch Switch for retro emulator then. There you go. And this is from Brent, who says, good evening, everyone. I was wondering if anyone here has been able to pre-order the Playdate yet. Also, MVG, are you thinking of developing a game for it? And finally, is OJ going to be on tonight?
I would love to get my hands on the Playdate. I don't know if the pre-orders have opened up yet. As far as developing on one, I'm interested. So I like
cool.
I like the crank mechanic. So if I can come up with a cool idea how to use that, I may do some stuff on that because that sounds kind of cool.
I mean, interesting to see you actually just release a game on your own. Just here's on the Playdate, see how it goes. That'd be cool. And this is from Console Gamer says, "Oh, John, when you post a picture on Twitter of all your GameCube games, who all here got the Zelda Joy-Con? Shout out to Wario64 posting them for Target at 1 a.m. Eastern for me to buy them. I can post a picture of all the GameCube games. I have them like in a bookshelf, like all spines, so you can read them all the spines that I like the games. But I did get the Zelda Joy-Cons. They did show up yesterday.
Yeah, where are mine? Come to think of it, because it said it was shipped and supposed to arrive today from FedEx.
Did you check? Did you go outside and check?
Yeah, storms today.
Oh,
It probably got delayed if there were storms.
In transit as of 7:44 a.m.
Your raccoon signed for
Yeah,
it.
they probably just
Bitch!
Get Animal Crossing. Remember Animal Crossing for Nate? It's gonna get Animal Crossing.
I
dude.
hate Joy-Cons. I just
Damn.
want to have them so that one day I can sell them for money.
Yeah.
Are you sure you shared a piece of bread with that raccoon?
No, it was a
Are
piece
you
of
sure
pizza.
Are you sure Tom Nook didn't come out and steal your game because he was not grateful for that pizza?
No, it was 5 a.m. and this says in transit at 7:44 a.m.
What's his name?
I love 5 a.m. pizza.
oh, you're
outside of
raccoon. What's
John,
your...
what's his name?
The one that I mean, there's several. There's only one that comes on the porch. I call him Chunkus because he's kind of chunky, but he's not. Yeah.
Do you have? Is it one Ricky too? Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky's the fat one. Ricky's the big fat one.
What about Rocky?
Okay.
There's no Rocky.
Okay.
Oh, Rocky Raccoon?
Kevin with the sticker there. Then we have Chris. No message. Jeffrey says, MVG, if you're playing Skyward Sword docked, use one of the 8BitDo Pro 2's profiles with their customizations. I've not tried that. It's an interesting idea.
That could be cool.
That's an interesting idea. I may give that a go.
This is a very leveled comment here. Xbox lost PlayStation 1. Nate lied about Switch Plus pre-E3 DLS 2021. Huge. Oh, they used like a little emoji there too.
What was the emoji?
I can't tell. I don't
Do your best to
know.
describe it.
Hopefully, an eggplant.
It looks disappointed. No. I see. It's with the long Pinocchio nose. Okay, that makes sense.
Pinocchio knows.
Got it.
I like that.
Yes. Bloomberg, myself, and the Japanese newspaper. What are they called?
Neki.
Nikki. We all lied about it. We all got together and we actually sat around a table. We shared drinks and we said, let's fuck with this Xbox killer. Sony won, lost, whatever the hell your name is, because it's dumb as fuck. It's not worth remembering.
The
And
thing
so let's
is,
fuck with this guy and make up a lie.
you're saying it sarcastically, but I kind of feel like that did happen.
That did happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now he's
we
telling the
actually
truth.
went together in a Yakuza club and we were like, yo, guys, let's fuck the world over. And we had all laughs and we played darts and shit. It was a good time.
MJ says, do you think the Animal Crossing and Mario Edition Switches are worth keeping new in box? If so, for how long? Decades. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say now
Maybe.
if it's gonna get to that point like older systems are currently. Gabe says Switch is done in regards to any third-party games. I want my Gabe Boy already. Vision says, why do so-called hardcore gamers know nothing about game development, game sales, or anything with games other than why you shouldn't buy something? I assume that's in reference to Twitter. Shin
Some
says,
people just don't care about certain sides of a thing. If they just like certain sports fans probably just really care about watching the game and don't really go too much into how the plays are done and all that stuff. It's
that's true.
same kind of concept. They're just a fan of the product and not how the product's made.
That's absolutely correct. Football fans don't know a damn thing about American football
Yeah.
and sit there and say the dumbest shit on every single. Oh, they didn't do this.
I didn't say nothing. That's all, OJ.
They're like, you're a moron. That's not how football's played. Like, that's nothing to do. But football fans will just say everything because
Shin says, I don't understand the hate for 64 gigabyte Steam Deck running on eMMC memory when the Switch runs on eMMC and plays games off the micro SD card and no one's complaining. Please explain because I'm hot.
Where's the hate?
Well, no, the issue with that is some of the Steam games don't even fit on the 64 gigabyte.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
at
you're not playing Call of Duty on that thing, but you're not playing Call of Duty on the 256 gig one either.
Yeah,
I mean,
True.
you know.
And this
Get what you
is,
get.
David says, regarding the success of Skyward Sword on the Switch, this is yet another example of the Switch's positive appeal as a retro gaming port machine. Also, another good example of Metroid Dread crossing 3 million. Let me go around here actually while we finish these up. Let's go to Sean. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on RGT85. Go watch my videos from this week. People ask, oh, why don't you do retro videos on the channel? I don't know. Did you look at what the Nintendo Wii video did from last week? Compare it to other videos on the channel. Come on, people. Got to put your money where your mouth is. No, yeah, whatever. I'm just tired. I want to go to bed.
Got it. Let's go to MVG. Where can everyone find you?
Wow, how do I go from that speech? You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G and YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. Video dropping on Monday. Me and Nate will probably do a Nate the Hate next week. And thanks for having me on.
And we'll go to this from Willem saying, I know everyone going to make fun of me for this, but I love the original Skyward Sword because of the sword combat. I felt like a badass, especially during the final boss.
Oh, yeah.
And laugh at him, make fun of him.
No, I agree.
Anime says when you replay a game, the flaws might be apparent and you end up liking it less. Happened to me with Final Fantasy 15. Bet others felt the same for Skyward Sword.
Yeah, Sean.
I didn't even hear that question. Like, I literally.
This is
sleepy fuck.
This is from Grinning Wolf Game says, Sean, stop munching on Starburst and DM me for your custom controller. Competition for the consumer, and I hope Steam Deck makes Nintendo and its shoddy anti-consumer practices. Time will tell. Do we
actually? Okay.
Do you have to DM Sean about your custom controller?
I'll hit him up on Twitter tomorrow. I got his message. Okay.
Retro says, thanks for the entertainment weeks after weeks. Levi says, do you think Steam Deck makes Switch Pro pointless? No.
Because the Switch Pro isn't real.
What? See, there we go. Macaulay says, thanks to everyone for all the great content. Shinru says, evening, everyone. Hey, Jordan, would you like to see a Spyro movie? I remember there was one in development, but got canned. Maybe some same style as Reignited.
There was one during the Legend of Spyro trilogy of games, which I am not the biggest fan of, so I would have not wanted to have seen that. I would actually like to see if they were going to do anything Spyro, like an animated TV show that just is a bunch of just random adventures in the world of the dragons. Nothing too crazy. I don't need a big overarching story or a movie, honestly.
Click, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me here on YouTube as Misclick Gaming, or you can find me, I'll be live all next week with some more Skyward Sword, where you can watch flawless motion control gameplay because I'm coordinated like that. You can find me at twitch.tv/misclick_life. We'll be playing through that, and then after Skyward Sword, we'll continue on with Mass Effect because we're getting into some more good spots, and there's just so many games to catch up on. But yeah, other than that, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Misclick.
Okay, let's go to OJ Player Essence. Where can everyone find you, man?
Yeah, right here on YouTube. Also, on Twitter as well, at Player Essence. People challenging me to fight, so we might have a prize fight, like a Jake Paul. People got me. I almost crossed off, beating the hell out of a Twitter troll on my bucket list. So, so you can find me on there too.
You want to fight?
He challenged me to a fight, but then he blocked me afterwards.
Oh.
After I said, okay, let's do it, and then he blocked me. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Player.
Is that the guy whose picture I posted, zoomed in on
not
it?
that guy, not that guy. That guy, he's busy watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse tonight, so he couldn't make it. But yeah, you can find me YouTube, Player Essence. I got some cool videos dropping this upcoming week. Got some Switch discussion videos. Tomorrow, we have a King of Smash tournament, like $1,500 qualifier. So this is like the best. We got like the best people. So it's going to be a pretty high level tournament tomorrow. So that's going to be at starting at 9 a.m. PT, so 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to watch some high level Smash competition qualifier for our tournament that we're doing at the end of the year for $1,500, make sure you check that out. So
this one's from Jupiter saying, I love RGT, but sometimes you make me feel polar opposite with your takes in gaming. It makes me want to create video just to point out valid points.
Do it. Just don't.
There you go.
Don't fucking like call me a piece of shit and stuff. Like I'll check it out.
And says, yes, I reserved the Valve Steam Deck for emulator reasons. 512 gigabyte version. Marky says, will the Switch 2.0 be more powerful than Valve's? I'm going to say probably not. No. Hectic.
Maybe.
Depends on how long, right?
I've heard some rumors about it for the past 2 years, so
Hectic
It's not a
says,
Switch 2.0.
Hectic says, Steam Deck has 16 gigabytes of RAM and the Switch has 4 gigabytes. So Nintendo is ripping you off. 4 hours of battery is great for commuting to work. I don't know if you're gonna get 4 hours out of the Steam Deck with control. I don't know it's gonna be that many. Xbox lost PlayStation 1. Watching Switch PC users fight for the number 2 spot is the best thing about this. Steam Deck will flop like Steambox. Oh man.
He's so cute. Like he's so dedicated to
Also,
the
Sony
cause.
is number 1. Don't forget. There's a comment there too.
At least the first half was kind of right.
it'd be really funny this whole time to find out that that's one of Nate's like alt counts, and he's just doing this to create like some like drama for the show.
That's way too much effort.
It breaks eBay's terms of service if a seller can't guarantee the item will ship within 30 days of purchase. So everyone scalping the Steam Deck can be reported.
See,
Yeah, but they don't do shit.
I know. I've heard that so many times with every pre-order that's happened in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And they just let it go.
Monado says Steam Deck is definitely more targeting at those funded portable PCs and targeting a Switch. Those say Steam Deck will kill Nintendo Switch is just a dumb statement, but we see this a lot though.
Indeed.
Marky says after Nate's comments, Steam Deck is a portable Xbox. Marvin
Technically,
says,
yes. I mean, you could run Game Pass natively on it, so
maybe that's what Microsoft was having those conversations with Valve about, is to make sure it was.
I feel like you'd want to get that announcement out soon. Like you'd want,
especially if they made Game Pass part of like Steam OS or something, or try to get it there just to put it on this platform.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. Like Game Pass can run very well on that type of device, and that would be an enticing thing for the core, I guess,
because they'd be able to
Microsoft
offer
thing.
Download and local play, not just streaming.
Yeah, because Microsoft doesn't all have their own handheld. If you don't want to use your phone or your tablet or your laptop or whatever on a commute, you could technically get the Steam Deck, load up Game Pass, and enjoy your games. So it is favorable for Microsoft with their growing ecosystem.
Marvin says Valve also made the Index, which is excellent. Jared says, "Well,
sold like shit."
Will Skyward Sword control better on the deck? Probably not. Well,
maybe.
Maybe.
Shinra says Steam Deck
on the
looks pretty cool, but I'll take a console that supports physical copies of games. Refund policies must be the same across all platforms. Steven says Castlevania GBA collection hype.
Yes.
That's coming soon, right?
Well, we don't know when it's coming, but it's been rated.
Promise says
maybe
when will people just
October?
when will people just admit that Nintendo is a dying brand and the new Steam console will put the final nail in their coffin? Do you see that, Sean? Right there.
Who said that? Who said that one?
Get him on the show next week.
They also put a super chat in and said for Sean to fart in the mic. I assume that's what you're talking about.
I don't have to right now.
I feel like you could just will it.
No, because then what if something else happens?
If you shit on camera.
If you full on shart, we'll get an extra donation.
It'll be like Jack Black in that one movie with Ben Stiller. What's that movie?
Is that
we might get a sponsorship for Depends.
I think we just lost that sponsorship for
Joey
tonight.
says there a reason to hold on to my V1 Switch, just like how the launch versions of the Wii and GameCube are preferred compared to their revisions. MVG knows why you hold on to it.
If you want to play emulators, RetroArch, hold on to it. If you don't care about running emulators, then
I'm still holding on to mine. I love mine. I love it, my baby.
Victor says I started playing FF14 last week, and I started playing, and I already beat the main game. It's truly amazing. Anna says always wanted to play Halo, Shenmue, and Cyberpunk 2077 in portable. Shinru says John or MVG, can Sony and Microsoft really patch out the C-bomb issue with PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S? Seems like it was designed that way at the start. I believe they can. I think
they can patch it out. Yes.
Yeah. Master says, anyone know that G4 TV is on YouTube now? I just found out and I feel nostalgic. Yes.
It's been there for several months.
RDX says RDX Crew was right about RDNA 2 features like VRS2 only on Series. Digital Foundry confirmed. Xbox lost PlayStation 1. No games. Who has Game of the Year games? It isn't Xbox or Switch.
Silly.
Wait, Monster Hunter Rise isn't a Game of the Year game?
So silly.
What?
Julian says,
What does Sony put? I mean, yeah, Ratchet and Clank is definitely in the running for Game of the Year right now. I absolutely would not debate that. But
I don't really know what's
we're
going to
in-
go up for Game of the Year right now.
we're
Now that
in
I'm looking
July.
at it, like across the board, Monster Hunter Rise, yeah, it might be up there at this point. Looking around, it's like,
why
I mean,
can't like
what are the big games this year that
Right.
scored really, really
Well,
high?
I mean,
yes,
Halo
that's true,
Infinite
yes,
could be
Dreadwall.
amazing and could potentially, I mean, depending on how the campaign and the multiplayer play out for Halo, that can easily be Game of the Year. Why can't something like Forza Horizon also be a Game of the Year contender?
That's going to be
depending
in
on
the
content
racing
delivered?
/ sports category. Those
Doesn't
go
mean it
together
can't be
really
Game
well.
of the Year.
That's okay. That's true. That's true. And Julian says Kirby reboot in style of Dark Souls. Mini bosses
Oh my
are
God.
Couldn't Kirby
pinatas.
just beat everything? And Kirby would have to be like the boss. You can't kill
Foil.
Kirby.
Jordan, where can
Yeah.
everyone find you?
You can find me on the YouTube channel Jordan Fringe. We're getting close to 90,000 subs, so thank you for all the support on the content. I appreciate it. I've been putting out a lot more content than usual, so go check it out if you like cartoons, new TV shows, old TV shows, movies, you name it.
Okay, let's go through these last ones here quickly. Kelvin says, did you guys hear the Mets lost to a walk-off grand slam? Thoughts if they'll make the playoffs? I hope not. It'd be funny if they didn't.
They will.
Nito says, don't forget about FF16. When do you see it releasing? Probably next year.
2023.
Tomorrow.
Or 2023. Corey says,
Sean,
can
I will bet you it doesn't release in 2023.
No, we don't do bets anymore.
oh gosh.
He knows he's
Course.
losing.
The lights are already
No,
off.
He would've
no,
won.
because
He would've won
I
the
would have
last one.
won the last
would've.
bet.
You never agreed to the terms.
Oh, you should
Because you couldn't. Because you
Kept
couldn't.
changing it.
I did not. I wanted
offered you
one thing.
terms and you didn't agree to them.
the fiscal year you would have won also, Sean, at this point.
Yeah, it's true.
See, you didn't agree to the offer.
Corey says, can we get
So-
Asmongold on the cast? FF14 is so good.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, Blizzican says, what highly praised game do you not like?
All
Skyward
of them.
Sword. No, I'm just kidding.
You will leave it alone.
I have a list. Where do I start?
Anything
We all
that's
know Sonic
is.
is on your list, friend.
Oh, so, most of them are on there. I won't tell you which ones, but most of
I'm
them.
gonna go with Cyberpunk. That was
mean,
reviewed so
yeah.
well.
Highly-
That got
highly
perfect scores
praised.
at launch.
I'll put Astral Chain.
You played like an hour of
How are
it.
you still hating on Astral Chain? Oh man.
Because it's funny. I just like seeing OJ. Just
I
get.
haven't even said anything.
You're waiting to. You're already rolling your eyes.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Jeffrey says, yeah, I used 8BitDo Pro 2 to play Breath of the Wild to accommodate my disability. There you go.
Nice.
Shinru says, RGT, did you order your Joy-Cons through GameStop?
Target.
Target. Okay. Biss says, finally caught you guys live. Huge fan of the whole cast. Much love from us at Biss Men. Zerloth says, he's like, what? Steam Switch will fail. If so, you probably are friends of. Marky says, I don't know.
That was a
It's
weird
like a
thing.
gibberish one. I'm not really sure. Are you like the guy in the middle? Do you think it's- yeah. Marky says, Miss Click, thoughts on the Switch Pro, and then is OJ here? OJ's right there. Let's see.
Thoughts on the Switch Pro?
Maybe.
Switch Pro.
Oh, I know why they're asking because I said what I said earlier. Listen, I'm gonna be so ecstatic for a new Switch, whatever that ends up coming out. I'm just tired of us freaking talking about it every week, man. Like, let me just like not think about it for years. Let me see the trailer for it or the announcement for it. But I don't want to be talking about it for 2 whole years before it even comes out.
OJ,
Why did you, why
Marky
did you become
also has
so
a.
southern right then?
It slips
You
out
got like
sometimes.
a twang coming out.
OJ,
It's-
Marky also has a
it's okay.
suggestion for an OJ here shirt or OJ is here shirt. I'll do it. Marky's gonna, I guess, pick one up. There you go. And then looking over at Streamlabs, Pico donated $100, saying, "Haven't donated for a while and just wanted to show you guys some love."
Pico.
Also, PSA, Dr. Claw, get your butt to too many games. Hey,
Is that referring to me?
No.
No.
Oh.
Is Pico going to too many games? I think too many games this year is going to be. I think it's going to be a pretty good event. Like it sounds like a lot of people are going to it, and I think it's going to be a good time. So
Let's go. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully Pico makes it out there. Should be fun. Should be fun. Thanks, Pico. Mr. Kane says $5 towards a video editor for RGT's next video.
Man, fuck that. I don't even care. You know why? Because if it was earlier, I would have. If it was earlier in the video, I would have pulled it down. But it was like at the 12-minute mark when the fuck up came. So I was like, okay, if you're sticking around to 12 minutes, you know what's going on this channel.
You know what's next now, RGT. You know who's gonna make something.
God.
How bad of a?
It wasn't bad. I was trying to say that I considered Skyward Sword to be the Super Mario Sunshine of Zelda games, but I said I consider Skyward Sword to be the Super Mario Sunshine of Mario games, and then I paused, and then I just said what I meant to say.
That's not that bad. That's a usual mess up.
That's a pretty good comparison too.
Yeah,
I agree.
You guys, I will fight you all.
I agree.
Dude, it says with the big end making the Switch XL, is it possible that they were or are getting ready for a co-venture with Xbox gamepads on Switch and Switch on Microsoft servers?
you know what's coming.
That's
You
all
really want
happening.
this whole Microsoft Nintendo thing to really happen?
Maybe.
I mean, something's happening. It may not.
Hold on.
excite
Whoa, wait, hold
people
on.
that
What?
much.
Huh?
We've talked about this like 8 times this year.
Huh?
They have some sort of collaboration. Doesn't mean it's going to excite the consumers. They could just walk out and be like, "We're releasing napkins."
No,
together."
Phil explained why the Switch was on his back shelf.
Yeah, because he's going to sit there and say, "Because we're doing something with Nintendo."
He could have.
He wouldn't. It's like
Okay,
the
Nate.
worst marketing ever.
All right, Nate. Where can everyone find you? Take us out. We're all good.
Oh, I don't have to like banjo.
We're
or
all
anything.
good. You can do whatever you want.
No, I'm not doing that. No one paid.
Oh, we did. We also finished our poll for the Switch OLED model. 70% said no, they will not be buying it.
That sounds about right.
Impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, and people can find me on YouTube at Nate the Hate. As MVG said, we will have an episode in the coming week, very likely on the topic of the Steam Deck versus the Nintendo Switch and whether or not it is a competitor to the platform and how the two compare and if there will be any overlap or any competition, and likely debate it a bit because I think MVG is a bigger fan of the Steam Deck than I am. So it should be a very interesting conversation. Once it
Goddamn
drops.
right I am.
Shut up, MVG. I'm going to own your ass. Like the British owned Australia.
Hold on, what?
Whoa.
That took a turn. Man. It's getting historical.
Damn right. I'm going to be dropping you on a deserted island filled with kangaroos, exploding trees, and every vicious bug and insect that can kill you
the
in
trees explode
microseconds.
too?
Yeah,
Australia.
there's trees in Australia that just burst into flames.
Be nice
Are they
to those-
N64 trees?
be nice to those
take
Brits. They lost the soccer and they're not feeling too
Man.
good right
All
now.
right.
That's true. That's true.
Jeez.
The
Okay.
Italians won.
All right, Nate.
Well, I have
that
to
it?
do, do I have to do like the conclusion
Are you?
too?
I'm just asking if you're done. Are
I'm
you
not-
done?
I'm not even sure what's happening
You went
anymore.
off like talking about exploding trees in Australia.
Hey,
I just asked you to tell
thanks
people
for
where they can find
watching.
you.
Drop a
That's
like.
that's
Come
an
back
Australian
next week.
fact. Trees
All right.
burst into flames in Australia.
All right. Thanks everyone for
See
joining
you
us for
later.
Spawncast. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Think for
Or
yourself,
not.
question authority.